Watch what happens.
I haven't seen him since I was
I
12.
I really don't even know who the fuck you are, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
We're about to find out.
I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick, yeah, it's tough. Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else. All of this greatness inside.
Episode 22, The Future. This is what gets me riled up, man. I'm sitting here with Mr. Matt Suttles. You don't know him yet. The word's yet. Feel free to readjust that as often as you like.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for coming in on episode 22, and it is the youth, but it's the adult youth and where they go, where they get their information from. We've talked about it on some of the other podcasts. I also want to get into his career a little bit, where he gets his mentors from, ideas, the beautiful young lady you've been with. You know, how do you pick the right girl nowadays, man? Was it a literal face-to-face? So welcome, Matt.
Thank you, by the way. Appreciate
We go
you
like
having
this,
me.
Dave. Okay, good. That's all you get around here, son of a bitch. So, anyways, so was it face-to-face? Was it high school?
No. So I met Kelsey at Oktoberfest. When was it? We've been dating almost 2 years now. So almost 2 years ago. And it was by a complete accident because my buddy had just hit me up and he was like, "Hey, let's go to Oktoberfest." And I was like, I had just gotten out of a relationship that I was pretty pissed off about.
Long term?
No, it just involved a friend. And there was a lot of backstabbing going on.
Yeah.
So
Hey, you were married, right?
no, well, this was after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so get to that one first then. Well, hang on, back up. Burk. I like to start in the youth because there's a lot of people that have impressions in every man's life, whatever your age. You know, I was with somebody who's in my family, and I love her dearly, but she says some things that are, I'm like, whatever. They always say, well, you know, wisdom comes with age. Bullshit. I know a lot of wise men. Caleb Ross, I want him on here. This man went from selling RVs. He became the top. He never even went to college or anything. Became the top salesperson in a local RV dealership. And when I'd lost everything, I actually started selling RVs because I'm gonna feed my family. And then ended up running multiple stores. Got out of that. Got into crypto. Everything he did, and now he's into real estate. Guy's tatted up from his neck, his back, all the way to his arm. You know, good-looking fella, well-spoken, but a grinder. And I mean, he fits this podcast. You know, the grind of, and so now he's in real estate. I think he sold like 29 million last year. He just went to Valdosta, Georgia. He's in Valdosta, Georgia. Caleb Ross, you can look him up. And I mean, I'm not like friends with him, which is why it would be cool to sit down. And I remember him sitting, because he interviewed me. Now I got this 21-year-old interviewing me, right? And I ran all these stores, and you know, but obviously I had nothing because I'm coming to ask to work for him. And I'm sitting there, and he told me, he said, I could do anything you do. He said, can you do anything I do? The answer is no. And that's why I love this next generation. They have the Generation X, us, have been riding this system and grinding it while the baby boomers take all the glory. And
I'll agree with that one.
DeSantis, what is he? He's a Gen Xer.
Yep.
You know, I mean, Trump, he ain't getting it done without all his Gen X, you know, family. And so, but below that, and what I mean below the next generation, there are some powerful people. And she was talking about it the other day. They've seen like we saw what our family went through. Mm-hmm. And I pushed for entrepreneurship and on buildings and owning buildings and and it's been very good for my life. But what a grind. I mean, I'm 15 minutes late to my own podcast. I'm never late because I was doing a delivery. That's the grind, you know. And so with all that said, dumping, because sometimes I do that. I'll get to running. You and your youth. So did you grow up in Florida? Were you born in Jacksonville?
No. So I grew up in Atlanta, in Marietta,
Yeah,
East
yeah.
Cobb to be more specific.
Yep.
Up until I was 10. Then my parents got divorced, and my mom was like, I want to be near the beach. So she moved me and my brother to Florida.
And they allowed that for the dad stayed in Atlanta?
Yeah, he stayed there. Originally, like, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, and my mom was like, I will move to the state line.
Yeah. Do they co-parent pretty well when you were young?
No, not really.
That's okay. And we ain't got to get deep into it. Man, when you're 10 years old, that plays an impressionable part. My parents stayed married, and they probably should have gotten divorced. I probably might have been a little bit healthier. Maybe not. Who knows? I mean, one of the people, and we'll get into who's coming on down the road, but one of the people coming in is a psychologist and all this psychiatry, and I want him to shred me. Tell me what I am, dude. I mean, I have run with, knuckleheads on the east side in no color, shape, or form, by the way, just knuckleheads on the east side. I've run with, some kind of two-wheeler here or there, and all in between.
I'm looking forward to seeing what he says about you.
It's a her, I think.
Oh, either way.
And then one of them's a gay guy, so it's going to be fun. So, yes, and it's going to be political and everything. So it's going to be very interesting, because I do believe, and I will start saying your bride. How long y'all been dating? I'll get you married.
It's been over a year.
I'll get you married. Be careful, young man. No. Listen, you take your time.
Yeah.
It's ready when you're. I dated my wife. Don't throw anything at us. For 4.5 years. But yeah, I met her at 20. I was 20. I was scared to death of marriage.
Yeah.
It's scary, huh?
It is scary, man.
You're already doing it.
Yeah, I know. But like
The commitment.
no, it's not even that. It's the fact that like I've just done it before and like
okay.
And
Now
that's,
see,
like,
I
the
had
scary part, yeah.
okay. Well, you know what? On the podcast, one of the greatest things we do and that we've learned through stories of men and women that have sat over there and through my life experience, exactly what I feel uncomfortable doing is where I need to be running to.
Exactly.
Now, I ain't talking about homosexuality, because I'd be very uncomfortable being the catcher in a homosexual relationship. I ain't running towards that. So you have to, sort of filter that concept. You got to let these people know,
only
man.
the catcher?
I mean,
you only specified the catcher.
So I was just saying, let's see.
Pause.
Okay, pause. We'll talk about it. If I got life in prison, am I going to pitch?
I mean, you really ain't got a choice.
Have you seen some of those girls? I ain't pitching.
Like
I can't do it.
Like the prison
Yeah.
girls that are dudes, but girls.
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Oh, I've seen it,
Well,
yeah.
my no, I wouldn't. I don't think. I mean, I'll
I'm
tell you
not.
this.
I'm good.
Yeah, but I saw Shawshank Redemption, man. I mean, it don't matter how big you are. There's 5 of them big boys. Now, I spent a little time behind bars here and there, but as a white boy, I don't know, man. My brother did 5.5 years maximum security.
That's crazy.
So, and he was tested early and often, but he was a big boy, and he could scrap, and he could play basketball. He was a stud athlete.
And then he controlled their commissary.
Dave, he had a say in things that went on, like many do, to help control the population, Dave. Because things like that can get out, and then what do you mean? They start researching. I don't think control. But there's certainly books kept in jail. So if you're in there for any amount of time, and you ain't getting nothing on
Oh,
you.
dude, they got cell phones now.
Man, they're doing
and,
lives.
Like, because I work in roofing.
We're about to get. I was about to say, because you're in that industry,
surrounded by it. Like I'm just surrounded by felons all the time.
Oh,
so,
above
like,
you and below
yeah.
you.
So like I'm constantly hearing about I'm hearing like some like cool prison story about like the other day. This guy I know, he was telling me the story about how he snatched a guard's phone because he was talking shit to him, and then he boarded up the windows, and the warden had to come down and like convince him to like unboard everything and get everybody to listen because he controlled that unit.
Yep. My brother.
Allegedly.
My brother. Oh no, it's not alleged. That my brother-in-law Well, 60 Minutes has shown, or that 60 Days In has shown
Yeah.
a lot behind scenes.
Yep.
I've had the displeasure of visiting quite a few jails. I've not been to prison, but I visited some few jails around the state from time to time, and perused them for a weekend or two, and maybe through the week. As we were figuring out, it was just misunderstandings is all it was. So once we got people that had legal paddings on the back end, and we found out it was all misunderstandings, they let me out after I served, slept there a couple days, whatever. Anyways, and that's why I don't drink. So I never have had. I didn't always get in trouble when I drank, never. But every time I was in trouble, I was drinking.
You remember when you started drinking?
Yes, I was 13 years old. I was at a local private school. My brother is 2 years older than me, and I was sitting with the cool kids. I'd made varsity my freshman year, not due to my athletic prowess. My brother was a stud athlete, but he just wouldn't learn the plays. And so they put me in to tell Bart, you run a 10-yard slant, you do this, that, the other. Yeah. But what you talking about, kid? I'm on varsity, kid. Man, I got cuties around. I'm like, what? I mean, the jersey just hung off me. And back then, they didn't have specialized pads. So the seniors and he was a stud athlete. I mean, till he lost his leg and blew his arm out. I mean, he was a pitcher and has a great story. I was not that guy. So I wanted to hang out with those guys because my brother was that guy. So they halfway let me in, and I was a grinder. And that's what taught me. My skill really didn't kick in till till I was about your age, maybe a little bit younger. About 21, 22 is when all of a sudden I'm like, my ups just picked up. And I'm like, oh, I was like dunking on people. I'm like, what? Where was that in high school? Yeah. I've had some guys in high school that see me and go, why weren't you like that in high school?
That's funny.
I don't know. I was a late bloomer, Yeah. And then as it gets a little chaotic. So I like running into the uncomfortable. So sometimes, but you do have to do your own research. But marriage and all that relationship, that's got to be scary nowadays.
It is, man. You got to look at the women that my generation has to choose from. I mean, they're all just internet prostitutes. OnlyFans, this, that, and the third. Like, it's just...
Okay, so all's a lot. So
Well,
we're going to help you a little bit. So all's are
quite
really
a few.
There is, but now, we'll back up on that. I actually happen to know one, not through paying the monthly subscription. Okay? I just do that to help her family. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a subscription. I do have an account on OnlyFans. I opened an account when it first opened. Why are you laughing over there? I opened it.
At least he's honest.
I have worked my way into a swingers club. I have been into an all African American in Columbia, South Carolina.
That was great.
We walked our way in. I worked my way into an all private African American club
to play darts.
We were looking for a place to play darts, and we're in South Carolina, and I didn't know anywhere. And I was drinking them. I was not a mean guy, man. I had a blast. I loved life to this day, and I'll tell you why later. And I was your age, when a little bit younger than you when it really clicked. But yeah, we got into that club, and then other clubs, and got in trouble a little bit.
Yeah.
Not too much. No jail time.
Nope.
So did you die?
Close.
Okay.
But nah.
You didn't
No.
die. There was no guns drawn.
No.
Oh, there was a gun drawn.
Maybe a time or two.
No, but that was at the club.
Yes.
In all fair, this wasn't like street guns. This guy pulled the gun because I didn't have my receipt.
Yep.
I thought he was
We
playing.
went to
A
a
receipt?
African American comedy club, and there's a
we
certain
were
drink
walking
menu.
by. No, we were walking by, and everybody was walking in. I'm like,
He's like, come on, Dave. You grab
I
some
said,
about a
Dave,
shirt.
we're going in here. He's like, no.
So we go
no.
in. We're like the only two white people in there.
It was awesome,
And there was a drink minimum. Well, obviously, we drank way more than the minimum.
bro.
But we go to walk out while it's still going.
Because they're
I guess
busting on us. They're having a blast. I'm cracking up. The spotlight on us because we're only two crackers in there, and so they just had fun with us, and I had a good time. But we were done. I experienced it, and off we go.
So we were going back to play darts, and we go to walk out the door, and the guy's like, "Do you have your receipt?" And we're like, "No, it's on the table."
Yeah, I don't like
He's
really
like-
people pushing me a little bit. He's like, "Hey man, you
That
got your
guy
receipt?" I
pulled
was
his
like,
gun and said, "You are not leaving until we see your receipt." And someone went and grabbed the receipt.
"Oh, yeah." So I'm not a badass. I'm smart, right? That's how I live.
And I looked at Brett. I said, "What do we do?" He's like, "I ain't messing with this guy."
Nope. I waited, got the receipt. He saw we spent more than enough, and he let us leave. Have a good day.
But he was not letting us out that door until he saw it.
But the good part was that comedian was hilarious.
Oh my God, yeah.
Who was it?
Who knows? I
knows?
was
is that something
drunk.
right?
It was just like a local comedy
I was
club.
drunk.
Hey,
It was just the
I'm drunk.
experience of this is not a white person in
But
there.
the
I'm
two
going,
of us, spotlights on us right in the middle of the crowd of
Oh, that
like
was
500
funny.
people.
I'm
Oh
done.
my god.
Oh, and I mean, it was. I mean, it's Columbia, South Carolina. I mean, they run up and down the aisles laughing. I mean, they're very free about their community, and I love it because I have a lot of. I mean, I have a lot of dear friends that run all gamuts in Jacksonville and beyond, and so I understand the culture in a lot of ways, and so it wasn't just busting on us; they were just having fun, man. I mean. Because as soon as he got done with us, he started on somebody else. So it was a comedy show, man. I had a blast. So, anyways, that's a whole enough of Columbia, South Carolina. I want to get back on Matt's stuff. So you're in your youth. So at 10 years old, you move, you separate. Mama moves to where y'all are now.
Yeah, I moved to Fleming.
Okay, Fleming Island.
Yeah.
So, and that was what years?
That was 2008.
2008. Oh, so it was really starting to boom around then.
Yeah.
And you went to Fleming Island High and all that. So
Yeah.
Set the record straight. Is it really Pharmaceutical High? No, it's
Man.
Lean High is what it is.
Yep.
I mean, when I was going there, I mean, my brother was already telling me stuff before, like, I even came there, because we're 5 years apart.
Yeah.
So he was already warning me and stuff like that. Just stay away from the drugs.
But here's the thing. They're everywhere.
That's true, though.
Okay.
Any high school you go to,
Now
there
listen,
was drugs.
1980s. I went to a private school, and I'm not here to embarrass them, so I'm not going to call the name out. But I went to a private school, a good private school. But I mean, we were blue collar. And this one guy was selling cocaine, and his dad worked for the Jacksonville police department or what have you. His dad walked into the school, beat this. I'm not talking about like to a bloody pulp. I don't remember. I wasn't like right there. This is how the story, but and literally dragged him out of the school.
Good.
Yeah. And
Wow.
that guy's still around. So, I mean, it happens. I went to Episcopal.
You went to Episcopal?
Man, I couldn't afford that thing. I had a work scholarship to go there. And
I was like, oh, wow.
yeah, I was at University Christian. There's the school. So I was at University Christian, and a little more academic turn for me to get ready for college. I don't know that there was people at the school I went to you could do well in that school, but I wasn't pushed. And over there, I guess my dad thought I would be, and he had a way to get me in there because back then in the 80s, it was like $10,000 to go there back then. We couldn't afford that.
Yeah, it's probably like 30 now.
It is, or something like that. Well, what's so funny is shout out to Marcus Wells, man, the head coach over there. He and I played football together at Episcopal, and he was such a dynamic, neat young man. And I guess they're doing well. I don't follow them real closely, but I mean, some of my attorneys have come. I built some relationships there, and they taught me to view, and that's what I love about this podcast. They taught me to view bigger. I didn't know the world was that big. And so, I'm sitting and I start reading books, and that at UC, we're just, I didn't really, school wasn't first. It was for me. It was sports and, activities and girls and,
Yeah.
the girls didn't want me. I was a scrawny little, they always want to know
Same.
they always want to know where my
Same.
brother was.
Bro, I didn't glow up till I got.
But
I
look
got
at
in
them
the
now.
Navy.
Look at them now, kid. Where are they? Well, they're always, I mean, they age quick, man. So, and all of a sudden the scrawny ones grow up, So now you're looking at your 50s. This is what you're going to look like. We went from goofy to all right,
Yeah.
Hopefully, you
So,
just keep all your legs and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
hopefully.
diabetes. Hey, let me tell you, prostate and all that. Start taking prostate, healthy, methylated prostate. Talk to your doctor. I'm
Dang,
no
you know
doctor.
about the methylated?
Yeah.
Ah.
I was going to go today, but I had to do a delivery, and we got rid of our delivery guy. And so sometimes you just got to grind. So I was doing delivery, and so then I had to go home, drop Mama off, and change. I was sweaty, so I had to change and run up here. And yeah, so I've heard a lot about Gary Brecka. I follow him.
That's
closely.
why I was asking about it.
I follow him closely.
Yeah, I do too.
So I was going to pick him up today. I will be after this podcast. I'll be picking him up and everything. And I mean, I'm actually supposed to be down. Come to find out, I was supposed to be down at my attorney's office for a pre-interview for the deposition tomorrow.
Depositions tomorrow? Or
Yeah.
Tomorrow? Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
depositions tomorrow. So we're getting closer.
Yeah.
Not about the injury and all
Right.
that. So they've been good. Man, laws, So let's walk back to you. So you get into Fleming Island, you go through high school there. Any thoughts of college? Or you just wasn't, because sometimes college is a waste. And I love. So did you try it? Did you dip your foot in? Or you just knew right away?
So I knew that. I mean, I like certain parts of school.
Yeah.
But I don't like the whole, hey, you need to take this class, and this class, and this class in order to graduate. Most people don't learn like that.
Yeah,
Everybody learns differently.
they do.
And
And it's only structured for a
dyslexic.
certain. Me too.
I'm dyslexic and I'm
Yeah.
ADHD. So school for me was pretty hard.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, well, we're not paying for you to go to college. You need to figure that out.
Yeah.
And but I already knew that, going into high
Right.
school. So it was either go to college and go into a bunch of debt, or go into the military and get a GI Bill and they'll pay for it. And then once I got in, I was like,
What branch?
I was in the Navy. And once I got in, I was like, I went to Purdue. I did 2 classes at Purdue. And I did English 1, or I think it was English 1 and English 2, or Composition 1 and Composition 2. And I hated it. I was like, this is so stupid.
Right.
I'm not learning anything.
Right.
Like, you're just teaching me what you want me to learn, not what I need to learn.
We're killing trades.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Yep.
agree with that,
Yep.
1,000%. And then
Hang on one second. Who's the guy on TV that always talks about trades? It's not like it came from me.
the finance guy.
No, the dirty jobs guy.
Oh,
Joe-
Mike.
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 Okay,
Yeah, I
Mike
forgot
Rowe.
his last name.
Mike what?
Mike Rowe.
Michael
Yeah, there
Rowe.
we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Michael Rowe. I love that he has pushed it, and he's really been the first major person that goes, trades are dying, dude. I mean, air conditioning and plumbing.
The age gap is
Electricity.
crazy. My buddy is like 20, is my age, 26, and his master electrician is like 65, and he's passing all the information down from because he's learning from journeyman.
Yep.
Because he's an apprentice.
I did electrical for 5 years.
Yeah.
Should have got my
And-
journeyman license.
And
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
I mean, he's union. So I
never was union.
Man,
That's
he's
smart.
making bank. I got a buddy that works JEA, so he's union.
That's
and
good.
then I
work.
got another buddy who works JEA electrical, and he's union as well.
I got power. I got lineman friends that went to
Yeah.
UC. Shout out Clifford
They
Johnson.
make stupid money.
Yeah,
Stupid.
and they work hard, but
they do.
But it keeps that athletic team atmosphere that your bride was talking about. Because she's in the see, that's why you need to have a mic and everything. She's in nursing. And you are a nurse. I can call you a nurse, okay? So
Yeah, she's a legit
a
RN.
legit RN. And so one day she'll be sitting here, and you'll be sitting over there, and we'll be talking to her because the tragedies and the life lessons she can teach about
for
what
sure.
she sees coming in, dippers. All of a sudden, mine. I remember my first panic attacks was with a sweet young lady like this. It was 3:00 in the morning. Man, I don't have panic attacks. What are you talking about? I'm a man, dog. I'm an alpha. Oh. And I went to the hospital because I'm having a heart attack, man. And this was in my 40s. And I made Dawn Marie go with me, and I'm sitting in there, and they tested everything, and everything's just bumping just straight. And they told me I was having a panic attack. I said, "You don't understand. I'm dying." I use I'm cussing.
It feels that way.
Yeah, and they dealt with me like they probably dealt with many. Look, you can think what you want, but you're not dying, and we're discharging you.
Yep.
Like, and I had to learn a lot, right? Because they see it all the time, So I have another buddy who's a firefighter, and they're
Do you know Fudge? You know Ryan Fudge?
yeah.
Yeah, he's a firefighter now.
Is
too.
he
Yeah,
really?
he is.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I coached.
Yeah, you coached him.
Did I coach Ryan?
I don't. I definitely played
Okay.
with Ryan for
Yeah.
sure. I
Yeah.
definitely played rec ball with Ryan.
Which is true. I have not seen this young man in years, but I did coach you in football and baseball.
No, I
Just
didn't play football because I was so small.
Okay,
But you definitely
baseball.
coached me in baseball.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Is Mason your brother?
Yeah, Mason is my brother.
You know Mason real well too. The military guy that went back into the reserves when we used to be at Island Life.
Oh, okay. So he's 5 years older than you.
Yeah.
You know my brother.
Oh,
We
very,
drank
very
together.
well.
We
He
drank
was at
together.
the island. I used to play trivia with your mother.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I also know your
Yeah.
face
Yeah.
from too.
Yep.
Oh my
And then
gosh,
Mason
yeah.
had one kid, and then he had 2 twins, and
Yeah, he did.
See, Dave.
he's still in the military, right?
Yeah, he is. He's
Yeah,
I
he
think,
re-enlisted.
full-time service now. He's still like reserves, but he's still like,
Yep.
he still has to go to work every day and wear his uniform.
We sat many nights talking about whether he should go back in or not.
Yeah, I don't really talk to him much anymore.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there. You know what? Family is a funny thing.
It is, man. It really
It's
is.
you know, I hear so many times from people in my life, why don't you just let it go?
Nah,
They don't get it.
I can't let it slide, bro. Like,
You
no.
don't. No, listen to me. You don't have to let it slide. Look at a man 54 years later that's having to still deal with it. And I'm telling you, you get your answers one way or another, whether through the response or lack of.
Exactly.
You have spoken, because 94%, and you can look this up. I may be off like 1% or 2. If you're that flimsy, I like flagging birds. It means I love you, love you folks. If you haven't subscribed yet, here, hold one of those for me, will you? I'm just kidding. Listen, the beauty is 94% of all communication is nonverbal.
Yeah.
And I like that. And she's over here. That's why she needs to be on here as well. She's over here nodding because, I mean, as a nurse, you got to know. I bet you can tell somebody's about to go off or fall out before they do. You see all the signs. And some people will sit here and go, empath. They like to put that word on me. Yeah, I'm not an empath.
She says that. She says she's an empath all the time. You
Well,
have said that.
and that does. Listen, that's not a bad thing. I may not truly understand it all, and that's why I love this podcast. Yeah. But to me, an empath has visions of. I mean, I have visions, but they're goals, and I can make them come to realization. But I'm that guy that can be with somebody, and I can. I don't try to, but you can just read a twitch, and I know what they're thinking. You know, not in all things. That got me in trouble at your age. I thought I knew everything. I thought I knew exactly what everybody was thinking, and it got me punched by guys like you. And so you got into. So you got out of high school. Did you graduate decent? Were you happy with it and all?
I mean,
or was it
I
just
really knew
hell
it didn't matter at the end of the day. School was a joke to me.
Yeah.
School
And were
was
you
just so dumb
fighting
to me.
at home as well? And I don't need to get into all the details, but was there fighting at home as well? You were already wanting to spread your wings?
No, not really. Like, my parents were just like, figure out what you want to do, and I made the decision, and then I went in the Navy and went to Texas for a year. That was fun.
Okay, that's true. So yeah, I moved on to Phillips Highway at 17. I should have gone in the military. It would have done me some good. I needed 4 years. How many years were you in?
I did 5.
5.
I did
Thank you so
5.
much.
Thank you for this.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. My son, I remember when he first got in the Air Force, and he'd go, why does everybody thank you? You know, right.
Oh, we hate it. As
Yeah,
veterans,
I know.
active duty too, like, we hate it because
know.
we hear it from everybody. And it's not like it's like bad to hear it. It's just we hear it all the time.
I know.
And,
It's
like,
over
we appreciate
and over.
it, but I hear it all the
I know.
time. Like,
Well, Jacob lost a woman that he had dated for 5 years. When he chose to go, he re-enlisted. Had he got his first position, he would re-enlist. And so he got South Korea, and then he's going to go to the Philippines. Yeah. And so that's exactly where he wanted to be. He may never come home. So, and I'm okay with that. So we may all move over there. Who knows?
It's super cheap to live over there, man.
Boom. And they're clean, and they follow laws. They're respectful. Now, they are getting a little westernized. You know, I mean, whatever it is, Western, Eastern. They're getting a little more Americanized, too. They're getting greedy. And they drink a lot. They drink a lot.
all that sake and all that stuff. It's
Ugh.
yeah. But he is in South Korea right now and loving it. And so, but in making that choice, a young lady that he cared very dearly about decided she couldn't wait. And so after the initial pains, and life's been good, and there's a beautiful young lady in his life they've gone to New Zealand together, and she's flown over there, and it was just going to be, they were very open and honest. He just wanted to hang out for 3 to 4 months before he shipped out, and God had other plans, and they've now 3-4 years in. She's like a little daughter-in-law to me, so I love her dearly. She doesn't ever watch this, trust me. She probably doesn't even subscribe. She doesn't probably even know I have it. I don't tell
Does
many
Jacob
people.
know you have it?
I think I've mentioned it in passing. Yeah, I think they know. You think my kids are watching this? No. And I don't care. What I have
Is
found.
this live?
No, not yet. We're getting there. I need 1 or 2 more. We need to get a little more active on our computer where we can throw. So as you talk, we should be throwing stuff up. We should be downsizing a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
And it's coming. But
He found the most computer illiterate person to do this part.
Hey, everybody's got to start somewhere.
Bro, let me
whenever
tell
they
you.
start something, man.
if you go back to episode 1 and watch us, and how many times I said and didn't really know how to, I allow myself to go off on tangents because it's where I get creative sometimes. But I need to know how to rein it back in because they would classify me ADHD in 2 seconds.
I'm the same way too. So
Let me ask you a question. When you play video games?
I do, but only recently. I used to be real big into it, and then work just consumed my life for the longest.
Right.
Now I've kind of gotten back into it.
Right. So in video gaming, prior to work consuming your life, could you sit there and play a video game for an hour?
I can sit there and play it all day.
That's not ADHD. Plain and simple. You're not ADHD. That's attention deficit disorder. Somebody's got, huh? What is that? Okay. Oh, hyperactivity. So which one? Okay.
I always need something to do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I need something.
Yeah,
Man.
I clean too. I've learned to start vacuuming and dusting. It helps the household too. That everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang.
Yeah, I just see so many. My middle boy, they wanted to put on pills when he was, I don't know, 8, 9, somewhere in that range. And
Dude, I was 5.
You don't even get a chance.
I was 5.
That's where guys like Gary Brecka and men like him, that blood work test where you find out what you're deficient of, apply that first and see if it settles a young man or woman.
I agree.
Or like you said, learning is different. Man, I used to get now this was the 80s. I had Miss Shoemaker. I don't even know where that lady lives now. She is abusive. I said it. Dude, I had claws. I had fingernail marks in my face. And all because I turned around during prayer because the young man was talking and I was going to talk to him. But I could not sit still. That makes a good businessman, especially in your business.
Oh yeah.
So you go into the Navy, you specialize in something with the idea of coming out with it.
I went to A school in Texas in San Antonio for a year, and then I got a C school, which is a specialty school out of there as a pharmacy tech, and then I went to Great Lakes for the entirety of my tour, and thank you.
Yeah, you can.
I'm
pull,
awkward
no,
right
watch this.
now.
Pull-
I feel like
pull
a
it-
hermit.
Watch this. Pull it away from me and point it at you, just like
that's much better.
just like that, and it'll be
Yeah.
you're good. It'll pick you up just right. Just tip it up a little bit more, like literally the circle's pointing right at you. Boom, right there, and this will tighten it if you need to. But you're good. Nope. Now talk. Watch. You don't have to lean in. You dork. I like that.
All right, where was I? Did that, and then did pretty much my entire tour at Recruit Training Command, which 10 out of 10 don't recommend.
Okay.
Chicago's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool, but the circus they got going on there.
Yeah.
So you really had not many skill sets other than maturity and learning responsibility.
Yeah, and I had a phlebotomy license and a medical assistant license.
Oh, so you did? Okay.
Yeah. The Navy paid for it. They had
Okay.
like a little program.
Yeah.
And like I didn't even study for it. I just went and took the test and I passed, which was great.
Okay. So then you get out.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're getting into?
Heck no, man. I had zero clue.
Were you
what I
gonna
was gonna
were you
do.
gonna use it to go to college potentially, or just to buy you a little time?
Well, when I got out, my ex-wife had got orders to North Carolina, so we had went there and
So you're
I-
married throughout your service.
for like the end, like the last year, and went to North Carolina. And I mean, it took me a minute to find a job there, man, because we lived out in the middle of nowhere. She was going to Camp Lejeune.
I'm from
so-
Charlotte. I mean, I'm from North Carolina.
Oh yeah, so you know where Camp Lejeune's at
Yeah, yeah,
and all that. Yeah, so it's in the
My
middle of
family's
nowhere.
in Spruce Pine. So,
Yeah. I mean, it's not in the middle of nowhere, but like
It
we live like
is.
45 minutes away in Richlands. So
Yep.
it was kind of a trek every day. But anyways.
But it was in the trades that you were looking for?
No, I started thinking about it when I was sitting in this doctor's office at Onslow County Memorial Hospital. I worked with the surgeons.
Right.
And I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, dude, it shouldn't take an hour to make $25. I was like, this is bullshit. I was like, why do we have millionaires and billionaires? Dude, I was like, there's got to be a secret to this. I need to figure out what's the sauce recipe, bro.
And was your father, were you in the position that you had men, and it doesn't have to be your dad, that you had men you could go to and bounce ideas off of at that age?
Yeah, my stepdad has been very, very instrumental in shaping me and molding me into the person I am today.
Somebody
like,
you're
big time.
comfortable going to and really sharing that.
Oh, I go to him about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I go to him about things I don't tell anybody about
Yep.
but him. Yeah.
Man, that is important and for a young man. So
Yeah.
that's why you're so even killed like that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
You'll see it even more when you get to be the mentor for someone, and they will come, because I didn't have a lot of that. I didn't have somebody to really talk to. I had to figure it out on my own, which is a dangerous place to be. When you are your own lawyer, you're a fool. When you're your own counselor, you're a fool. And I would watch people, and that's how my chameleon world started. I would watch people, and I'd become what they were. Not really. Just let them think I was that guy, and because I didn't know how you got there. I didn't.
That's a lot of life, though, man. Fake it till you make it. Like
There are a
lot
lot.
of that.
There's a lot of successful people.
Yeah.
and moving before you know where the end result goes. So it sort of could be applied even in relationships
Yeah.
and commitments. I mean, we're really good at applying it in business, but guys, we don't like applying sound principles in relationships because then it makes too much logical sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you North Carolina. You're not really doing much up there. Nothing real exciting.
Nothing really exciting. And
Are you
then-
around other people your age?
No, like I lived on a 1 acre piece of land. I had a nice piece of land. Man.
Yeah.
My front and backyard were huge. I had a little like 1,200 square foot house, but I had
So
an
you were
upstairs,
looking to
3
stay
bath.
there.
Yeah, we had bought a house there. I'd put $5,000 down to buy it and everything, and got the house. And
So
like
divorce
things,
happens.
yeah, things just weren't working out.
Yeah.
And the divorce happened, and my parents helped me come get all my stuff, and then I moved back to Florida.
Yeah, recouped a little bit. My sister did that.
Yeah, I had to recoup.
Dude, that's healthy. She lived with me a year, and it actually helped heal me too. You don't know sometimes how you're healing your parents, because it's man, my kids when they come home, oh my gosh, I just love it.
Yeah, my
man.
mom was definitely.
Oh,
happy to see
man,
me,
you
'Cause I
got
was just stressed, and I was overweight too, man. I was 235 pounds.
Yeah,
I'm 185.
Yeah.
on a good day.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so you got a job pretty quick here.
I got a job.
Did you hook back up with all your high school buddies and start hanging out?
A little bit. With one. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah. Because I'm following the track of a young man and how
Yeah,
you're
no,
making
I get it.
decisions, and then we'll back up a little bit on it.
What were we just talking about?
So you were with your dad and the decision making, and then you're
Yeah.
back here in Fleming Island.
Yeah, I'm back here in
and so you-
Fleming, and no, I really didn't. I
But the
talked to
Navy
really, like,
allowed you to
one.
have a little bit of liberty. You had a little bit of monies and
Man, I was broke being in the military, man. Like they sit there and they make it sound so nice.
Yes.
It's not, dude. I mean,
Yes.
like, it's just not. You're having to. You got watch.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't ever know when that watch is gonna be till like the day of.
yeah,
If you're lucky, you're not on watch. It's the same day duty section
yeah,
mustering and figuring out when their watch is going to be. Because, I mean, you could be sleeping in your rack and then you have to get up and go do watch from, like, balls to 3 a.m. Or most of the time, like, on ships, they're, like, 12 hours. I've never been on a ship. I did shore
Okay.
command my whole time. But shore command watch was, like, 2 or 3 hours long. Like, it really wasn't anything, like, crazy. If you were doing, like, roving watch or something like that.
So
Other
you
than
knew
that,
you didn't want to get back in
uh,
for you.
I mean, at the end of the tour, yeah, I didn't want to get back in because
Yeah.
I was just miserable. Like, I hated being told what to do all the time. I was working my ass off.
That's why I didn't go in.
My evals were like, by the time I got out, like, they were
In
really,
case
really
of the
good.
fuckets.
Oh, they were really good evals, man.
Oh, okay. So you were actually improving.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was, and I mean, like, along the way, like me being in the Navy, I mean, I almost got kicked out of the Navy. So, I mean, that was
I don't know if you're.
real
I don't know
stressful.
if you're not a real Navy man unless you've almost been kicked out or thrown to the brink for at least 30 days.
Yeah, like no, like that was pretty crazy. I've got some pretty crazy stories. Like this one. I'll tell this one story. So I was at the bar on base in Great Lakes at the Sam Adams bar, right? And I drove a little Ford Fusion, 06 Ford Fusion. It was my grandmother's. She passed away, and I gave my dad a $5,000 check for it. And I get out of the bar. Of course, I'm a little tipsy, but my barracks room is probably like 500 yards away, right? I've got to go down this road and off to the right. Anyways, like, I back the car up, and then I punch it down this straightaway. Yeah. And I come up on the curb, and there's a freaking cop sitting right there at the curb. I didn't see him till I got up to him. And I slowed down, and I was like, what you want me to do? And he's like, pull in a parking lot. And I pulled into the parking lot, and then I waited and shut the car off. And I got my license and registration out. And I'm thinking like, oh, shit. Nah, this is it, boys. I'm about to go to the brig. And the cop pulls up, and he's looking at me. He's like, what happened? I was like, I was speeding down that road. And he's like, have you been drinking tonight? And I was like, yeah, I've had a few. And he was like, where's your barracks at? And I was like, it's right there. I could see it. I could see it. I was less than 100 yards away from it. I was like, it's right there. And he was like, it's your lucky day. He's like, it's your lucky day. He's like, I just got another call and I have to go to this. He was like, so get your ass to your
Wow.
barracks room. So I got my car and I freaking
And you learned
skirted
from that?
Oh, dude, I learned.
Normal
Walk.
drinker. Normal freaking drinker.
But I'm sitting here going, I was thinking just like you. If you had to go 100 yards, you were going to take your car.
Yeah.
You weren't walking.
No.
Yeah, I was the same way though. The bar was on base, so I mean, like, it was a stupid decision. Needless to say, like, I was young and dumb and still made stupid decisions like that. From
I mean,
then,
we all
like,
do.
I used to drink a lot.
Oh, we all made those
like, I was a
decisions.
raging alcoholic, dude. Like, it was not good. I used to do some crazy things in the Navy.
Yeah. Do you still drink?
I try not to, man. Every now and then, like, I'll have a beer.
Do you ever get back to that point?
No, I
They-
did. I
they-
don't
hey,
like the feeling of being drunk.
Okay, then you were not an alcoholic. You were what's called a heavy drinker.
Good.
Don't call yourself an alcoholic.
Good.
If you can go out and have a few beers and never get back, does he ever get back to it? And never get back to that? You were never an alcoholic, ever.
At one point, I thought I genuinely was because I was trying to put it down for the longest, dude, and I could not.
I was the same way.
couldn't.
Okay,
I
so then let me ask you
couldn't.
this: if that's the case, what made you stop?
Weed.
Okay, California sober. That's me. So weed, you started smoking weed and you quit drinking right away.
I mean, it was
soon after?
Oh, it was extremely soon after. Because I even remember.
Did you go through DTs or anything? Did you get any
No,
kind of convulsing
nothing.
or?
Nothing. And I mean, I used to drink a lot. I drink half a fifth of scotch a night.
Yeah. I don't know. I still don't call me an alcoholic. I wouldn't call myself an alcoholic. I think you were a heavy
But
drinker.
my real dad was an
By the way,
alcoholic.
I'm not a doctor. What the hell do I know? Comment. You say so. Say I'm an idiot. I'll take
Yeah.
it. Teach me. I got a nurse over here.
He reminds me of me.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
my
He
dad
Used to
was
drink
like,
heavy, and we would drink a bottle and a half of Fireball a night.
oh,
Well, I
yeah.
was a drunk, so I dragged him right along.
But I was right
I-
with you. And
yeah.
people used to tell me I was an alcoholic, and I was literally at Island Life one night managing, and I looked at the owner. I said, "I'm over this," and I went home, and I really haven't drank since.
Yeah.
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 But now, like, no. Every now and then I might, like, have, like, a.
I'm not talking about getting tipsy. I'm not
Yeah,
talking about no. Okay, so how many years has it been? 5 years
Since,
6 years?
like,
Since
really
like you're
getting,
really
like,
you said well, you would have called
hammered?
yourself an alcoholic.
Probably 20. I would say, like, 2022, 2023.
All right, so you're still in the range. It could pop back up. Because
That's like a fear of mine because I'll catch myself.
but
when
not
I'm
but
out
not
drinking.
enough but not enough to stop drinking.
Yeah.
So who knows? I would tell you this, that would be a conversation I would have with you off thing. We are authentically raw, but to me that is
it's a
that
touchy
is-
subject.
huh?
I think it's a touchy subject.
No, it's not. It is touchy to someone who's trying to figure it out. To someone like me, it's not touchy. It's just I take it very serious
I agree with that.
because it is a life and death situation. You know, I mean,
Well, it killed my dad, so yeah, I completely understand. Yeah.
Cirrhosis.
Yeah, sclerosis, a kidney failure, heart failure, liver failure.
I watched a young lady, beautiful young lady. All she had to do was quit drinking to get a new liver. She couldn't stop. Couldn't stop.
Yeah, same thing happened to my dad. Yeah.
So you're right. So be careful. So call yourself an alcoholic if it helps you, because fear can be a healthy thing.
That's the thing, man. It's the fear. It's really the fear.
Fear of what though?
Fear of being like too drunk and like saying or doing. Because I'm not like a happy drunk. I'm not a happy drunk at all. I'm a violent drunk.
Well, you are checking off some boxes there, kid. So keep talking. I may have a different diagnosis here at the end because I do, being a, I mean, I have a lot of sponsees, so I happen to know quite a bit about it. But I think the reason that some of the programs that I'm involved in are not as successful as they were when they first started is we don't take it serious enough and we don't qualify. And I'm not quick to call somebody an alcoholic. I want to know more about them like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we call it more research. Can you go out to a bar and say, listen, I'm only going to have one beer? For me, I'll tell you.
For me, it depends on what's going on. Is the mood good? Is the conversation good? Because, I mean, you'll put 10 beers down and you're like,
Oh yeah.
dang, what time is it? I didn't realize I drank 10 beers.
Oh
till-"
yeah.
And like, they're gone.
Do you know I can read you a page out of the big book? You know what the big book is? It's the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's called the Big Book. And if I ever say the big book, I'm talking about the Bible. You know, whatever. So, but in the big book, it actually says almost its exact words. It says, "I never know when. When I go out, I don't know when I am and when I won't be."
Yeah.
And I went and set it down after my first arrest or my first. I mean, man, I traveled a lot. So I mean, I'd be in Memphis, Tennessee. I remember, that's not Elvis, and then I got to leave that place, and then we had a blast at Denver, and jumping off the trolleys while they're going full speed, hitting and rolling, all the fun stories that we all have, and then it's like, it was so much fun until, and she deals with the untils, I mean, I would always tell Dave, but did you die? Lights
Yeah.
off. I would take Hold Hard Road.
But like, I wouldn't go out and drink like that, man. I'd
Yet.
sit at home
Yet.
and I would.
Yet.
I'd sit at home, play video games, and get smashed.
I don't
every
ever
night.
have one drop of alcohol in my house. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I just
I don't-
never want to drink at home.
I don't have alcohol at my house. I always wanted to be out. I enjoyed
Mhm.
the atmosphere.
sitting around watching sports, talking to my friends.
So you don't mind drinking alone. You prefer drinking alone.
Yeah, most times if
Oh,
I'm drinking, yeah.
That's too judge for there. Yeah, I am not a doctor, but I will tell you this: I have. There was a gentleman that was driving, and you've been in nursing, may have heard this. It's been a year or two now, but he was driving northbound on 17 and around 5:15ish, and crossed the median and killed a wife, a mother, and a daughter. And I'm not gonna say his name. Sure, it's easy to look up. I knew the guy. He was a Marine, and he used to sit in the rooms, and he'd stare at me and he'd yell. No, let me back up. Don't believe he was in the Marines. His son was in the Marines and died in active duty. And this man was so intelligent and had, I think he was an engineer. I mean, had a family and was successful and had been in the rooms a bit. And I remember him sitting across, and we were sitting across the room, and he'd have tears in his eyes. He'd go, "Brett, what's wrong with me, man? Why can't?" And then he'd go start talking about his son and the past, which is regrets, future, which is worries. And man, what keeps me sane is living in the now. It just, and the now for me today, for this 24 hours is alcohol don't work for me.
Yeah, I try to steer clear of it, especially the dark liquor.
Yeah, but I went 3.5 years. Oh, gosh, you got to quit talking, young man. You don't know what you just said. That's in the big book, too. So what we do is we do a little different research. See, it wasn't – so I had he was my bartender. What was my first phase?
He was everybody's bartender.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't start drinking till I didn't kick into my mid-30s. I was a workaholic right there. Bet you work a lot, don't you?
Oh, I work a lot.
Bet you he grinds, doesn't he?
She don't like it.
Listen, I ran 50 plus stores, the largest unfinished furniture store in the chain. There was other people involved, but I mean, I was all over this country, and I was a grinder. I didn't have time to drink. Smoked a little weed here and there, but and everybody praised me for. I was 26. I was your age, 26, 27, and kept climbing, and then 30, 33, around 2008ish. When I got to know y'all. The whole economy shifted, and that corporation went through something and dissolved, and my whole life changed. And I was back in town more, and I had nothing to do. Guess what I did?
Right.
Went to the bar. All of a sudden, there's darts. Okay, I thought darts. There's sports. He had every game on. Thanks for making me. No, he didn't.
I was gonna say, I contributed.
You absolutely did not. Listen. My old sponsor, who has passed now, used to laugh when I would say that. He go, I remember when I used to think I could make somebody drink or not drink. Remember this, because you can't stop anybody. When they're ready, buy them a bottle. Give them 50. Just say, don't do it around me. Go somewhere else and don't come home. Because we're going to do what we're going to do. Don't tell me what to do.
What?
Are you that? You hate being told what to do?
I hate being told what to do.
Yeah, boy. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mama, I got him. Hang on a second. So, and this is not I always told, and I tell everybody, this is not a Jerry Springer. You are talking my world. And I was very good in business at a young age. I was well spoken. I would what you would call a chameleon, but in a healthy way. Now I used it for bad at times. Yeah. Oh shit! And so I used it for bad at times. But as I got older, I learned. Wait a minute, I can control this one. I got this dragon, and so I began to use it for good. But meanwhile, that son of a bitch was working. Because what I thought I had control of had control over me, and it wasn't the liquid yet. It was selfishness and self-centered. And then the ego began to, because money gave me ego. Now I'm my own. Nobody can tell me shit. Now I'll show y'all how it's supposed to be done. Yeah. And I became my own God in a lot of ways. Not in every way. I had a God. I'm a Christ follower. But boy, he got smaller and I got bigger. Because my ideas were working, boy. Everything. I had the golden touch. Roofing, selling roofs. I wasn't at that. I wasn't in roofing. Mine was furniture. And
Some people just have that though, man. Everything they touch turns to gold.
Do you think that, or do you think that it's a skill learned
I think
through failure? Come
I
on,
think
think
it's
about
a
you.
lot of. I think it's a skill learned through failure. But I have seen people do it and they don't know that they're doing it until after the fact. And I'm like, dude, like you're ridiculously smart. Like, and they're sitting there down on themselves because some idea didn't work out or whatever. But they got 50 other ideas that worked, and I'm like, dude.
So do you fit in?
What do you mean?
Just like when you walk in a room, do you feel like you fit in?
Most of the time, no.
I mean, yeah. You wonder why everybody stares at you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not alcoholic checks, by the way. That's just finding out where a young man falls. We only fall in 3 to 5 slots every time. And I recruited for a long time, and so I had to find them out really quick. Like nurses, I mean, caring, nurturing.
Yeah. That's why she's so great.
Bosses when you need to, while we sit back and let them ride it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not lazy. We can do it. If she's not there, we'll do it. But why? When she's there, she's so good at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I tell her that all the time, and she complains about it.
Yeah,
you
that's
know how me.
yeah. I got you. Watch, that's that selfish part. Yeah, that's a big check. And that's self-centered for me. God, if everybody would just do what I tell them to do, the way I tell them to do it, it'll fall right in line, man. Why are they not following what I say? I hate that.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you think your idea is the best idea, and their idea. There's more than one way to do it, but you think that way to do it is stupid.
Mm-hmm. And yet you've learned from people. So how did you do that? Knowing that you know a lot of, because you have a quick wit to you and you have a good mind to you. It's obvious. So how do you learn from people? Do you really? Let me ask you something. Do you really see yourself below them?
No.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's a good. By the way, that's a good damn check over here. That's a big dark one, which takes out about
I'll sit
7
there and
of those.
admit, like my ego does get in the way sometimes. I'll admit that. And
But what part? Like, give me a scenario. Like, not your way is better, but roofing. I mean, you have bosses.
I have one boss.
You have one boss,
Yeah.
and we don't want to like pick out a spot of that, but like in roofing, something where you know a better way. You feel like, or in life. I mean, in a relationship, if you don't do this or if you did this, I told you that was going to happen. I mean, do you beat a dead horse?
I can sometimes. It just depends on like the mood I'm in, really.
But is it to help, or is it at that hurt moment?
It's at that hurt moment when
Yeah.
I'm like, see, I told you so.
Yeah.
Like the other day I was with her and she had said, oh, I want to go over here because they could have this over here. And I was like, and if they don't, I've just wasted 20 minutes of my life walking around the store, walking out of here with nothing.
Yeah. Well, except
and then there was nothing in there, and then I was like, see, told you so.
and this is where no, that's a great analogy. Watch the little things in life, and that's where I was blessed. None of this I learned. It was taught to me, and hopefully it doesn't take you as long as me. Mine was in my 40s, but one of my mentors, I can just hear him going, oh, so the 20 minutes spent walking around with your loved one wasn't enough?
Exactly. And she sits there and she reminds me of stuff like that all the time.
Yeah. And my suggestion is this: get a man, because that's not her job.
Yeah.
She nurtures enough, and that's what I would tell my boys. Get some men in your life that aren't just friends. They're gonna tell you the real stuff. And like, dude, what are you doing? I have one that I'm gonna be sitting with tomorrow, and it's gonna be some serious talk. Not about like me. Well, it'll be about me, but it'll be some ass chewing. So I'm actually literally setting up for an ass chewing because I need it. I need this head reset because we get squirrely.
Yeah.
I get, and then
She's
when
good about that.
and then when I build something, now I'm bored. Even if the money's good, I'm like, oh, what's next? Roofing.
I'm the same way, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Like, once I do something or accomplish something, like
You don't do it for the money.
I do it. I get like maybe 10 seconds to feel good, and then I'm like, all right, what's next?
Wow, you guys are so similar.
Well, you know why? Because high achievers have low self-esteem. High achievers are never satisfied with anything they do.
Yeah.
Now, the biggest hurdle between me becoming an Elon Musk, and I ain't talking about financial side wise, I mean mentality side wise. I don't know if I could ever do what that man does. But on a redneck level, you know, the ability to do it is he doesn't give a damn if you like him.
No.
He does.
True.
I do. Because if we're so much alike, then he's got that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can peg it as low self-esteem, like you can peg it as panic attacks. They need to come up with a different word. And I will tell you this, the best thing that helps me as I grow is this, reaching out to anybody and everybody throughout the day in life, that you have wisdoms to offer people, and not just the sales side. When I would go, because I also did roofing for a while, and matter of fact, we know some of the same people.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
We probably know more.
yeah. But the interesting thing is, one of them to me is a jackass. To you, he's a dynamic mentor, and so I ended there, and I'm good with that. I think that's the beauty of life. You know, I mean, he and I would fight if we saw each other. You know, and you and him would hug, and you get to sit down and learn valuable information from a man who has built a dynamic business. Because, see, for me, I can divide the difference between personal and business. He's a good businessman. So, and that's my part on that side. And I was taught that. That wasn't something that I had learned. I was taught that by men bigger and better than me. I watched them. You study people?
Yeah, I study a lot of people. I have quite a few people that
Yeah.
I call upon when I
Yeah.
well that and
Or the what would that blank
yeah,
do?
What would blank do? Yeah.
Because I mean, now how do you pick them? I mean, like, let's say you're going through life, right? And you got some mentors, but some fade, right? They all have seasons.
They do.
And I had a pastor in my youth that was just a man's man and could fix anything. Just not a normal pastor in the 80s. And he went through some trials in life, and the church sort of went through what it went through, and he faded. But when I was your age, that 10-year-old Levin, dude, I tried to walk like him. I wanted to be like him, and then as I went on, I had other mentors in business. Bill Hanna, who was just a truck driver, and he would meet me in Tampa. I'd be sitting in Tampa, and we'd be on the back of it was big Woodview distributors trucks. And we had 6 or 7 stores in that area at the time. And so I'd be down there running the retail side, and they'd be unloading. And we'd sit on the back of that truck and just talk. And he would share wisdoms that I would, through windshield time, would process. So who were those? I mean, how do you pick those as you go through life? Or did you pick them?
I didn't even pick them, man, if I'm being honest. So I had...
And you don't have to name them, but like how many would you say? I mean, feel free to name them, but how many would you say?
Well,
I mean, because you're young.
There's my stepdad. He's owned a business before. He had a trucking business. So, I mean, he gets it. I talk to him about
18-wheeler, that kind of?
Yeah,
okay.
Like flatbeds.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what he did.
Oh, so he knows my people, the Penlands. He will. If he ever watches, which you better be watching it for your son. But the Penlands and all were big truck, flatbed trucking.
And then, of course, there's John. And then I worked at Massey Roofing for a while.
I mean, when you pick a mentor, or when you allow a mentor to pick you, do you have a bunch of them in just one pocket of your world, or are you trying to get a well-rounded mentor?
I try
a spiritual mentor, a financial mentor, a business growth mentor, a health mentor. You got one of those over there. So
yeah, she's really good about. I kind of keep her in check with her health more, because I mean I was a corpsman, so I mean I know.
Okay, my son helps me, right?
Yeah, I'm not dumb. Like, she'll come in and tell me what's going on with a patient or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I don't think that's what's wrong. I think this is wrong.
It's like mammograms.
Yeah.
You start studying up on mammograms. That compression, or when they do biopsies on cancer.
Yeah. I can read those.
Cancer, yeah, but okay. I'm not a doctor. He's a corpsman. She's a nurse. Do your own damn research. But I say that for legal reasons because people like John. Anybody that likes to sue, I don't want them coming after me for anything. I'm just a redneck.
I'm not giving out medical advice.
No, exactly. But I did watch some who did have some fancy PhDs on the back end of theirs that showed when they do biopsies, it actually introduces air into the cancer, which then spreads.
Yep.
And I've wondered about my father because I was a road warrior for 30 years, and I travel, and I'm Irish and have this kind of a darkness. Well, now I'm tattooed over it, but I mean those rough spots would come, and that's where my dad got cut. And once he got cut there, they've been cutting him all over. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't. And he says to use sunscreen.
Sunscreen is what causes the cancer.
That's what I believe. And you know, somebody said this, and I've been trying it at my new house, which I have a pool. Woo-hoo.
No.
And
Use chlorine.
yeah,
Chlorine.
yeah, but I'm not worried about that. But we were the '80s kids. We let lead paint, man.
Yeah.
You can't kill us. We'll lose a leg here and there. I mean, Dave's lost a leg, but he gonna be around. But I got sidetracked with your leg, and all of a sudden I had you on the zip line.
I know.
Or like I had a pulley holding you up top. We
Yep.
just zip you back down. Oh my gosh, I love that guy. That's a warrior. So the things he's been through. But we were really talking about mentors and how to pick them. And I try to have spiritual mentors.
Yeah.
I try to have financial mentors because I can make it really well. I just can't hold on to it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
I would say the same.
And then I know the Caleb Rosses of this world who are younger than you and I. No, he's probably about your age, who have had goals and progressively. And what's the difference between him and me? And the curiosity will chase me.
Oh, I do that all the time, bro.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
That's a healthy thing. That's a healthy exercise.
And it drives me nuts.
Oh, no. You're not doing the same thing I'm doing. You're jealous.
It's not. It's
Okay.
jealous because I want it.
No,
I want
okay,
it.
no. I was about to say this is not an attack. This is good. This will help people.
Yeah.
That's what this thing's about. It's not envy. It's not I want what he has and I can't get it. You have a drive in you that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but okay, I've been there. Okay, when I was in roofing and had my businesses, and long before even stupid roofing, dude. I mean, I ran Woodgie Distributors, and I was a licensee down at Bradenton's, owned a store, and I was making big money. It's smoke and mirrors. I mean, it's a hustle game. Sure, we want to pay our bills, and we want to live good, and we want to provide for our family and our growing family, but there's never enough money for kids. And then when I have a cousin who just sold his collision centers in North Carolina to big money. Now he has some foundation, and him and his bride throw galas and have foundation work all the time. You know, I'm gonna try to get him on here because he is. When I was heavier, you would think it was me. We look identical. Which maybe I got questions. It was North Carolina. I mean, you know, no, but I didn't find mentors in my family, so there weren't many. So for you to have, now don't get me wrong, my father has wisdoms and all, but
I mean, he's not even my dad. He's just my stepdad.
Yeah.
That
but how long was he with you?
I mean, I've known him since
Yeah,
I was 10 years old.
Yeah, that's
So he's your dad.
Yeah, basically, I call
Yeah.
him. I got
He's your
I got
dad.
him a mug for Father's Day that
Yeah.
says "Dad" on it. So
and then nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
My wife actually has her real mother who she loves dearly,
Mhm.
but my father-in-law married another woman 30 years ago, and she was either not able to have children or they were just past the age or whatever, didn't want them, whatever. So she maybe regretted it in the past. I don't know the whole story, but I do know she loved Dawn Marie and her son and her brother. And nowadays they send
straight mother cards to her, and she cries. And Domry calls her every day and talks to her mama every day. And when her stepmom, I don't even call her stepmama. It's Mimi and Grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, they're both my mother-in-laws, and they both bring something different. And that's healthy. Like if Domry and I ever got divorced when our kids were young, I probably wouldn't have been healthy. I mean, she'd have been all right in about 3 weeks. I'd have been, going crazy forever because of my insecurities. And that's something that is really hard for a dude to talk about. That's why I like this podcast. The panic attacks when I first started going through them, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I didn't know what they were called. And I remember when they called them a panic attack, I was like, what are you talking? I don't panic. I run a corporation. And I didn't realize what caused it.
Stress.
I'm not stressed right now, and yet I can have panic attacks.
Really?
Yeah. No, for me, here's the greatest thing. 1, 4 square breathing. Look into this.
You watch The Sopranos?
No, yeah. Yeah, I love The Sopranos.
You sound like Tony right now.
4 square breathing is a Navy SEAL breathing technique.
Yes, it is.
It's when they go in. So you probably know more. That's right. You're a Navy guy. I just learned it recently, but it's been very good for me. Like when I get frustrated or I get stressed, because I'm going through a lot right now. When I get stressed, it does help me. Now, I also have a doctor who prescribes. And she's the one that prescribed marijuana to me. I hadn't smoked in years. And she was like, have you ever smoked? I was like, yeah. You ever thought about it? I was like, no. And, and I was in AA, and I'm like, how does that tie in? It was a long process for me. Do I, don't I, and that liquid just wasn't for me.
I knew for a fact, like, I would quit drinking. Well, not quit, but I would quit drinking so heavily once I started smoking. I felt like in my brain and in my heart, like I knew it would die down after I started doing that. And I had talked to my doctor about it, and they tried to get me to do like Delta. So I did that for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, screw this, man. Like,
it was like panic attacks. They tried to get me on the slow release, and it didn't work. It was the alprazolam that worked.
I don't do
Xanax.
meds, man. After being a pharmacy tech and working in a pharmacy and understanding the machine that's behind it, dude, I wouldn't take any of that crap.
I don't disagree with you. Had you walked with me when you knew me, you'd never have met me, because I had just started taking it around just before your time. So me and Zach, and we've shared this story before on here, so I'll use a different one. But there were so many times with my kids where I was dealing with such intense panic attacks. I lived in hotels, so I would write goodbye notes to my family thinking it was a heart attack. And I was not to be grotesque. If you got kids, you shouldn't be watching this anyways if you're a kid. But I was throwing up blood. It was coming out the other end. I had ulcers. I was.
Wow, that's serious. That's serious panic
No,
attack.
my heart rate. Watch this. My heart rate. My wife has counted this. My heart rate would steadily be, when I was in those moments, 160 to 180. I'm just going, and nothing would stop it. Nothing. I would sit there. I had a stance, and I would just sit there, and I would try to breathe, try to find a focal point, and none of that worked. None of it for me. And so here's my sons who are becoming of age, 10, 11, and how am I going to interact with them? Luckily, I had my first panic attack of any true intensity. No, I'd been having them. I didn't know they were panic attacks. And then,
did you have them while we were playing baseball, like at the games or anything like that?
No, because at that time I had an answer, and it was Xanax. I was in Las Vegas, and I was going to be speaking. My wife went with me. First time she ever was really at my business work, so I was excited about that. And the minute I got there, it just kicked in. I had another guy. I didn't leave the hotel room for 3 days. Had a buddy of mine do the keynote speaker. He's a good dude and good in the business industry, and it just went on. And I called my doctor, and I said, if you don't give me something, I couldn't even walk into I tried to go to a buffet, and the little rails that you just walk, and I started walking in, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I had to get out of it. And I was ordering food in the hotel room. I'd never once had dealt with this. Never had a panic. Well, what I thought was a panic attack. And I called my doctor and I said, if you don't give me something, I ain't getting on this plane. He gave me Xanax. And there was a high, a little whoa. I mean, it was a little uptick of just, wow, that's, you felt a little high. If I were to take it today, and I still have bottles, it's as prescribed, as needed. If I were ever to take it today, I couldn't even tell I take it. I yawn once and I know it's kicked in. So my body, but I'm on the same milligram that I was on 25 years ago. Pills, for some weird reason, pills were never, I don't like medicine.
I don't either, man. I don't like Western medicine.
Yes. And that's where I'm heading. So I've not had to take them as I've gotten more and more into the breathing techniques, what I put in my body, getting the parasites out of my body.
Exactly. I'm a firm believer in like everything you're talking about right now.
So talk about it. So I mean, what is your top 5 that you do of Eastern medicine, right? Holistic.
Holistic, yeah.
Holistic. Don't see, they make that word out like we're cuckoos.
No, it's
holistic medicine.
I used to be the opposite way. Like when the whole COVID thing was happening, and they're like, "You need the shot," and I'm over here like, as a corpsman, we're having to give these shots out.
My son,
because the machine told us to.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, just get the freaking shot, bro, and go on about your day. And now I look back on it, and I'm like, they got me. They freaking got me.
Well, and it's like doctors. Doctors are not allowed to talk about what they really know, or if they don't know, it's because they weren't taught it in Western schools.
Some do, and they choose not to talk about it. I mean, dude, the amount of corruption that goes on in medicine, dude, and I'm not just talking about pharmaceuticals. That's obviously the driving force of the corruption.
Yep.
Pharmaceutical sales. That's the driving force of the corruption. That's why it's there. People are getting kickbacks.
Yep.
I mean,
you hear
know how
Dana White. I mean, Dana White's the greatest. He said, "I would never go to a doctor."
Exactly. No, and that's
for
why
my basic health.
Yeah.
A cold, a flu. I haven't had a flu shot in.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if I need surgery, I would get surgery. But I was 22. My blood pressure was 150/90 consistently. I was on blood pressure meds. I was on Vyvanse for my ADHD. They had me taking aspirin because they were like, your blood pressure's so high for someone your age. I was like 20, 21 years old, 22 years old. And I figured out it's literally lifestyle, man. It's what you put into your body. And the only reason I know that is because I lost a bunch of weight. And
how much?
I lost 50 pounds.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, man. When I moved back home, like, I made it a mission. I was like, I was watching a video one day, and I forgot who said it, but they said, "Look at yourself. Would you date you?" And I was like, hell no, I wouldn't, bro. And that's when I was like, I need to level my life up. And
yeah.
I got in the gym heavy for like 6 months, lost 50 pounds,
but yet being able to maintain it and keep it off.
Yeah.
And that's through what you put in, or?
I mean, I don't work out now as much as I should. I mean, just because I work so much, man. Like,
okay, so I traveled a lot, so I had to find a different way. And there's so many people out there. You can do multiple channels. I thought about doing a channel and showing pictures of what I used to look like. I mean, I was 305 pounds. I mean,
I remember what you used to look like.
Yeah, people don't even recognize me.
Yeah.
And my skin and my hair, and I mean, everything is so much healthier. And I'm not eating great. I'm eating good. I'm not supplementing great. But for me, it was about intake, but it was more about the intermittent fasting.
That's what I do. She calls me crazy for doing it.
Oh my gosh, it is so good for me.
She does. Don't sit there and say, no, I don't.
Well,
because I won't eat. I'll usually eat like one meal a day. So
I'll
wake up. I won't eat anything. I'll have drinks throughout the day, like Arizona.
Yeah.
Because I love Arizona fruit punch. That's
I have to be careful with my drinks.
And like that's all I'll have for the day. And sometimes I might have a protein bar, very rarely, but I'll go the whole day. I'm out in the hot sun doing what I need to do, roofing, and then I get down and I go home and because she doesn't get home till late usually. It's like 7 or 8. So like I try not to eat because I want to eat with her.
Right.
So I mean, by the time she gets home, I'm starving.
Yes.
But I feel like it's good for you though. It really is.
Oh, it helps me. Quest is a good protein bar. It actually had My son turned me on to it. Has 14 grams. They even have chips. They're a little different taste.
Really?
Yeah, they have a chip, and you will get 9 to 11 grams of protein by this one little bag of chips. So when I eat lunch, I get me some meat lunch, and I get me a protein, and then I get a little Quest bar. And those Quest bars get the cookies and cream one.
Okay.
I eat the RX bars, and I eat the there's another one out there that's extremely good, Mr. Crunch, the chef that makes them. I don't know I forgot his name, but he's on the box.
Well, when this comes up,
dude,
post the link on in the post and
I'll post like the name. I'll post like
any
what
of
they
them.
are.
Yeah, if there's things you've forgotten,
RX bars are so good. Shout out to RX.
Yeah, they may support you one day.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, man?
Well, you got a lot of wisdom in you. All right, so you get out of the Navy, you get home, and you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. How many jobs did you have prior to getting into roofing?
Oh, let's see. 1, 2. I worked at NAS Jax on base, fielding phone calls, making like $20 an hour for medical appointments. I hated that. I put that job right next to working at Winn-Dixie bagging groceries in high school. Like I hated both of those jobs.
Oh, I get it.
And that job, like I would just show up and come in whenever I wanted to.
I get it.
I'm not even kidding. Like,
you took that for pure just money.
I'll be honest on that. Like it was just purely to keep the bills rolling. And then
So how'd you find out about roofing?
So John, I'd moved back home, and then I was talking to Kyle,
right?
Kyle and Zach.
Oh yeah.
And I started hanging out with them a lot, and their dad owns a construction business, and said I should come work for him and learn a few things. So I did. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew I was getting $800 a week, and he paid me to do whatever I did. And I mean, like I did a lot of things with him too. I traveled out to Utah. He took me to Utah with him. Pretty much paid for everything other than
beautiful out there.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. Are they out of Salt Lake City? Are y'all near? Was he near Salt Lake City?
We were in Provo.
Okay, yeah.
We were in Provo near BYU.
I got engaged on Solitude Mountain out of Salt Lake City. So
that's crazy. It's not far from there.
No, that's Utah is the best snow skiing. I did Colorado for years. Yeah. I would go to Utah, and now after the Olympics years ago, it got a little more modernized.
We're going to Colorado this year.
Colorado's fun.
We went last year, and we're going again this year.
Get the express pass; it's worth every penny, or else you will be standing in line all day long, and you won't get many runs.
We're going to June. We ain't gonna be skiing.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well, enjoy. That's fun. All right, so is it mentorship, or is it more of just a fatherly man? That's
I would say it definitely I would say a little bit of both. I mean, it would definitely turn into a lot more mentorship.
Oh, that's right, because you're friends with his sons. Yeah, so that's okay. I get it.
I've known Zach and Kyle since.
All right, so he loves you. He loves you because you love his sons, and there's a good relationship. And that's why you're out there. Okay, so it's not in business. How old are you now at that age?
I was 22, 3.
Well, that's awesome.
22. No, I was 22. Yeah.
All right. So then you round about that time, you and JC start talking about roofing, or was he the first company you worked with? Or?
Yeah, he was, but like he threw me in the middle of a storm, and I had zero clue what was going on. Yeah, and I was getting leads, man. Yeah, like I was in those Facebook pages. Really? Dude, I was getting like 20 leads a day going to houses, dude. But I had no idea what I was doing, so I didn't know how to sell it. If I could take the knowledge that I have now,
because then you had somebody like Jack coming behind and just destroy.
Jack. No, I mean Jack was like on doing his own.
No,
thing.
I mean somebody like Jack coming behind you for another company. Yeah, and taking the business.
Exactly. Just because I didn't know what I was doing or how to talk or what I was talking about. Like I really didn't even. I just knew we were doing roofs. Yeah. That was it. And I really didn't have much of an idea. I just kept getting told, "Hey, there's a lot of money in this. You can make a lot of money.
And there
you
is.
Can provide." Oh man, when I figured it out and I figured out the recipe
Yeah.
and the secret sauce to it, I was
So
like,
what was the first thing you learned that got you into began to get you more time with the customer and then ultimately sales?
patience.
Ooh.
Be patient. Let them walk themselves into a sale.
Yep.
I'm gonna sit there and lead them to it,
So
but
good.
I'm gonna
Lead from behind.
I'm gonna exactly lead from behind. So I'm gonna ask a question. And or they're gonna ask me a question because I'm up there. I've done the inspection, and they're gonna come down and they're gonna go, "What do you think?"
Yep.
Oh, well, I think you need a roof replacement, X, Y, and Z, or whatever they need,
Right.
right? And then they're like, and then I'd sit there and shut up. I wouldn't say anything, and then I'd let them talk, and I would wait till it was uncomfortable. Like I would make them talk to me because I want them to feel like they're making this decision. And people think I'm crazy for saying this, but I mean, sales is psychology, man. People buy from you for a few reasons. They like you, they like the price it's at, and they like the product you got.
How about this? Let me clean it up. Every one of those you said is accurate. And so if you put perceived value, every one of those fall underneath it.
Exactly. No,
So
I agree.
technically, all those three are the legs that push the perceived value past the price. No one buys until the perceived value is past the price.
You have to
period.
get people to see the value in what they're
But if you
buying.
just tell them it's the value, oh, listen, this is,
No.
we do beautiful roofs. Everybody can say
I
that.
come out there with a whole presentation, man.
Yeah.
I got a drone I use.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll show them a bunch of different roofs I've done. Like
Yeah.
if they want like a specific one, like metal.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing a lot of metal lately, man. I'm doing more metal than
I get
I'm
it.
doing
My next
anything,
one will be
man.
metal.
Let me
Even
do
on
it.
my I will even on my rentals. I'm gonna do rental.
Dude. I'm
Because it's a
telling you,
one time. I mean, especially the way they're making them now.
It's a 30-year warranty on the roof.
Yeah.
Like, and your insurance company won't bother you for 20 years. Because,
Yep.
I mean, like, in Florida, you got so many laws. So 3 tabs, 10 years.
Yep.
Architectural's 15.
Yep.
And metal's 20.
And they're about to start making it where when you
it's
do a
even less.
claim,
Yeah.
you're only getting 20% or 30, according to how old the roof
Which
is.
is excuse my language, is
You can cuss.
bullshit.
It is bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Because they don't adjust their premiums.
If you sit there and you collect premiums on a homeowner for 20 years, you collected $200,000-$300,000 from this homeowner,
and you're gonna pay out 10%.
and you're gonna pay out 20% of the cost
at
of the
best.
roof.
At best.
Dude, that's a terrible business practice right there.
But-
How do you even get away with that?
Because exactly, we were talking about something earlier, and I forget what it was. It'll come back to me. But lobbyists, if you get rid of lobbyists, I believe that our government and everything would get so much better because they get to push their special agendas. And
Yeah.
the insurance companies, I mean, DeSantis, he bowed to the insurance companies in Florida.
That's what really like screwed everything
Okay,
up.
that was DeSantis, and DeSantis is pro growth, pro government. I mean, pro people, So why did he do what he did? And the game that they're playing about pulling out of Florida and everything, it's a hustle. These people are not going broke.
They're not, dude.
State
They're making,
Farm made
oh my
what?
Gosh.
Now I don't know
Dude, the
exactly what
money-
year, but I think it was 2020. 2021, somewhere in there. I'll tell you what, I'll find it and I'll post it on the thread. They made like 41.2 billion, and they paid out like 4 billion in claims. So basically 10% of their profits they paid out, and those kind of companies are.
If I'm making $40 billion, I don't care about that 10. Good lord,
No,
it's greed.
Now, if I butchered it, show me where I butchered it. If you don't think that my facts are straight, point me out.
I know. I'm not gonna mention the company, but there is an insurance company here in Florida. I mean, I know for a fact they've got $380 million in premiums a year. They're making $380 million a year in homeowners insurance policies, and they cover like $500,000 and up. Like those are the people that they insure.
Yep.
So I mean, it's just I'd like to get into insurance eventually, but right now I'm dealing with roofing.
So you've
It's
been in
just-
roofing for how long?
Almost 3 years.
3 years?
4 years, yeah. I mean, it's been a while. I can't even tell you just because it's been non-stop, dude, since I started. Like,
Yeah.
I started as a project manager. I worked for Massey Roofing.
Yeah.
Over there, worked for Chase and Zach.
Yeah.
Great people, by the way.
There's a lot of good men and women in roofing.
Yeah, and
There's some knuckleheads too.
yeah, you'll run into them. And I mean, Zach and Chase over there, they gave me a shot as a project manager. I had
Yeah.
no idea what I was doing, man.
Yeah.
I was there as a body, and I sat on every job he would give me for like the first 3 months. I would get up on the roof in the morning, do what I need to do, get my material count, go get my supplies, and then come back. And then I sit on the roof the whole day, and I'm sitting there watching, learning.
Yep.
I don't really like to ask a lot of questions because talking a lot. I mean, I do talk a lot and
Yeah.
ask a lot of questions, but when it comes to working with your hands, it's just better to see it and
Yeah.
watch it happen. And
Do they allow you to use the computer things that'll actually shoot? They got them now. The satellites will take the picture.
yeah,
the measure
we
the
do
roof,
that all the time.
and then they'll even do your
Your measurement of the roof.
and all your materials that you need.
Yeah,
They'll just spit out a whole material
yeah. So
list.
we're
They've made it so much easier.
So the other company that I work for, Valor Roofing here in Jacksonville. Shout out to Valor.
Hell yeah. I've seen them all over. I hear nothing but great things about them, the reviews and all.
I mean, yeah, go check out our Google reviews. We're
Yeah.
5-star contractors.
There you
out
go.
here, man. Over here, where was I going with this? What did you just say? I'd lose my train of thought all
It's
the
okay.
time.
It happens to me. But mine I got rear-ended in my short-term memory. That's why I keep
Yeah.
pads and everything. I was zoned in on you.
But yeah, so
You were working for Valor.
I'm working for Valor now. I'm the sales manager over there, and I went
So
from
ho-
PMing to sales managing, and I straight up called her because she the owner of Valor. I had met her at a Jags game, and we just exchanged information, and I had called her, and I was like, look, like I'm not. I'd like more opportunity. That's really like what I'm looking for. And
So what
she
is
was like,
your
"I got
growth
it."
plan? I mean, do you have one?
yes, absolutely. So
Wait a minute. Your generation has a growth plan? I thought y'all were lazy and just sat there and look at her shaking her head no. My boys aren't either. This and we're gonna get to this. This is a powerful generation coming.
I agree.
I mean,
I agree.
y'all have seen a lot, you weathered a lot, and you learn fast.
I agree with that, man.
You learn faster than we do.
Because I when I had called, I straight up told her, I was like, look, I was like, I need more opportunity. And she's like, well, I have a sales manager position open. And I was like, look, I've never worked in sales in my life. I was like, but I'll give it a shot. I was like, I could talk to people. I was like, and at the end of the day, like for me, I don't ever want to be able to, like, one of my biggest fears in life is I don't want my kids to look at me one day and be like, Daddy, I want that. And I'd be like, oh, we can't afford it. Sorry. So, like, the other thing for that for me was once I found out how much money there was in roofing, I was like, oh, wow, dude. Like, I get to help people and make a lot of money doing it. Like a doctor, I was like, that's great. Sign me up.
So
And,
do
yeah.
you have to pound the pavement and find yours?
And get out there and knock doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I knock a lot of doors. I do that.
How do you get around all the no soliciting? And I'm not talking about illegally. I mean, there's a lot of communities that are nice housing.
A lot of if I can get into a nice neighborhood, it's usually because somebody's called me in that neighborhood and they called me out there. And I mean, like, there's no soliciting signs, but I do be knocking those doors.
Okay, so I had to know, by the way, I didn't knock the door.
You didn't?
No.
I knock them every now and then, but
I
I
had
won't
no, by
leave
the way.
business cards because I don't like to piss people
No.
off. Like, I know you don't like nobody coming to your door, man, but I got to feed my family. at the
If
end
I
of the
got
day.
in your gated community, and that's how I took some of them roofs from the boys you knew. If I got into your gated community and you were out there cutting that lawn, I knew you didn't want to be messed with. But if I just happen to be driving by and you catch eyes with me, it's just a no, by the way, stop. Hey, and man, I would get into a conversation for 2 seconds.
I do that.
Never get out of my truck until that conversation started. And then he would start, as soon as he took one baby step to me, doors open, conversation's there. I got more roofs doing that.
Yeah.
Because
And Facebook, man.
Facebook.
Dude. I get a lot of leads.
A lot of leads. Now, do you do paid ads or
No, I don't.
more?
She does paid ads, but like I get into a lot of these local Facebook
Yep.
groups, and
That's what I did.
And then when
Every
somebody needs a
Monday.
roof, I comment on it.
You would-
Hey, I'll come help you out. I'll come look at it.
Every
for you."
Monday it was.
Well, yeah, like the Fleming Island residence page. You know, I mean, now you got to deal with the idiots that. I mean, I had one idiot who was on the other side of the insurance industry and saw all of us as scammers because I was on the insurance side. And so he would always put like a red light, scammer, scammer. Well, I private messaged him and I told him, I said, feel free to come with me on any roof and anything I do, blah, 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 you know. And he finally left me alone because I would also answer him publicly. I mean, you can't be afraid of it because in any business, there's lazy nurses, there's lazy doctors, there's lazy teachers, there's scumbag mechanics, there's scumbag roofers, but there's quality people there too.
Yeah, you really got to sift through the
Yeah.
sand, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
when it
and
comes,
even
because
the
I mean, you can't drive down the street in this town without hitting a roofer.
No,
man.
roofing is-
Everybody thinks they're a professional roofer, bro.
Well,
Because they hear all about the money and they're like, oh,
Right.
da, 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 da. I just need to get this license or get.
right.
Get
Well,
somebody to
now it's so
sponsor me,
right.
or-
Sponsoring is
Yeah.
they should make it a little more difficult.
I honestly think they should, man, because I mean, you got a lot of people out here and a lot of other contractors. Because we're
But
We're a
then
labor
guys like
contractor.
John wouldn't have been able to get in business. Well, I guess he could have had he gone and gotten his license.
yeah.
So so then some
It's now you can't do that. Like you have to have a sponsor. So
right.
like, yeah, he had. To
No,
go out
I
and
think
get
he has.
that.
No, he
has
some-
one now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Yeah. So,
But back
I'm
in
not
the-
trying to study
Back
his
in the
business
day,
model.
back in the old days when before I got into roofing, I heard old stories about like. I heard old stories from him about how like it would work, like on how he got started. And
What I don't understand is how a roofer can be unscrupulous, unethical, whether it be, there was an insurance companies, guys that took insurance checks before they made all these regulations and then would cash them in and the people wouldn't even know about it. Channel 4 caught one of them.
yeah, because
few
they
years
used
ago.
to have AOBs and assignment of benefits.
There
and
it
they
is.
did away
Right.
with
Right.
AOBs because
Right.
I mean, like you
That-
got all the say as a contractor at that point.
Yep. Now that was my greatest selling point because I was there right at everybody was doing AOBs and John was smart. They didn't do AOBs. They did the little agreement.
Contingencies.
Contingencies. And so I would always push the fact, don't sign AOBs, and things of that nature. And I guess, pitching your strengths against their weaknesses, is anything. So as a sales manager, do you have people underneath you?
Trying to get people underneath me. It's trying to build a sales team is a grind, man.
Talk to me about it, Bubba.
Especially like as a 26-year-old with absolutely no experience, not too many connections. I mean, I got a few connections,
Yeah.
but I mean, I can't snap my fingers and make it happen overnight like some of these other guys can. I mean, like props to them. They know the right people. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I get there one day. But
I think too is being comfortable where you are.
exactly,
That's what's helped me with the panic attack stuff. Is the past is full of regrets, and the future's full of worries. The now for me is a really powerful place to be. I can get very creative in the now. I can't when I'm worried about this, that, and the other for the future, and even the children, and getting ready for marriage. And I did get some wisdom when I was younger. It's like, dude, you will never have enough money to have for children, and they were right. But you just figure it out,
Yeah.
But I mean, you're putting away some good money right now. I wasn't making the kind of money you are putting away. Good money.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Because I'd have spent every penny if I was your age.
I mean, sometimes I do that. I went out and I bought a nice truck.
There's nothing wrong with that, but you do know if you right now will maximize your IRA for 7 to 10 years, and then you can stop, you will have millions. Now the millions won't be worth as much in those years, but you'll have that money to invest. I got every one of my kids doing it. All they can do is maximize your IRA every year, and it's not
much you
that
gotta
much.
put into
I think it's
an
like
IRA?
$6,000.
That's it.
That's like one roof, 2 roofs, 3 roofs. Well, back in the day, it was 1 or 2 roofs. I don't know what it is now.
Now that's like,
Oh
lots of
my
retail.
gosh.
I live off the retail, so
Yeah, but retail, there's a power to it. The problem with roofing is you don't get a ton of repeat customers.
no.
You get referrals, so you always have to be getting new customers.
Yeah.
It works because once you get that customer, the profitability of roofing is
it's ridiculous, man.
How fast you can turn.
That's why I tell her, I was like, your network is super important. And when I heard it when I was younger, your network is your net worth. I mean, that's powerful.
That's
right
good
there,
stuff.
dude,
It
man.
is.
Like,
It is.
who you surround yourself by. I mean, if you're going to surround yourself with shit, you're going to be shit. If you surround yourself with successful people, you will be successful.
Yeah.
It's just
Do you
the law
have
of nature.
but you have the ability to be around people for learning's sake, even though they may not be your perfect kind of peoples.
Oh, absolutely. But I
Yeah,
can
I'm
only
not
be
really
around them
good
for
at that.
a little bit of time, and then they start to annoy the shit out of me because
Yeah.
they're talking about stupid stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're talking about stuff that's not going to matter in a year from now, 10 minutes from now. I
That's
don't
me.
care.
Why are we wasting time?
Exactly.
What are we doing? I'm glad you have
She
it.
hates it because we'll go out to the bar and I'm sitting there staring around, looking at all the people jumping around, drinking, making fools of themselves. And I'm like, man, I wish I owned this bar. I'd be making a shitload of money.
I can get decent people selling them, but bars are. Dave will tell you, bars are. I mean, how one out of every 4 fails.
Pretty
Is it?
much, yeah.
Might even be 50%.
I think it's 1 out of every 4 fails within the first 2 years.
Within the first 2 years. I mean, I've seen some great bars in Fleming Island fail. Chicago Pizza was great.
Mm-hmm.
What happened with Chicago Pizza?
They tried to become a club.
The 2 owners
What?
didn't agree, and the whole nighttime club thing kind of ran over the restaurant part.
Dude, it was such a like everybody talked about Chicago.
You were
Pizza.
too young to go to Chicago Pizza.
No, I went there.
Did you?
Yeah, I went there. I've been in that building several times. It was right there on the corner in front of the Y.
Yeah.
I remember when it first came, and the parking lot was packed all the time. And when they went out of business, I was like, my parents were like, "Oh my God, how did they go out of business? Their parking lot is always packed."
The 2 owners.
I'm like, dude, they must have rent that's $10,000 a month or
Yeah.
something crazy.
No.
bro.
Well, he did. But
Yeah, but they had the money to cover that.
Oh, I'm sure they did. That parking lot was packed every night.
Yeah, but I think the owner was just. I mean, I don't know the whole story of it, but I think it's like every business.
Are the owners local or no?
Are they still open?
Local.
Who?
Chicago Pizza,
No,
are they
the
all
one
gone?
owner was really good friends with us. He was pretty much just an investor. And then you had another owner who also owned the American Grill down at the Landing and Chicago Pizza there, and he had like 5 restaurants up in Georgia. And those 2, they didn't see eye to eye with the way it was being run. And then the club at night, kind of took over and got the bad name for all the residents around. So people stopped coming to the restaurant part, and it was just a club. But I mean, the one owner that pretty much owned it all, owned the ones in Georgia, got caught down in the Dominican buying a condo for his mistress and everything. So he lost all his restaurants.
Yep.
Jesus.
Dude, sometimes you can make so much money that you begin to believe that that you have all the right ideas, and you quit filtering sound business principles.
It got to the point at the end where we were sleeping in the building, so the one owner couldn't come and take all the stuff out on the other.
Man,
owner.
I was hoping I'd get to. Golly, I thought we were gonna have some fun that night. I thought he was gonna come in and try to steal everything. We were gonna fight. It's no fun.
We had plasma locks on the door, so we couldn't burn the locks off. And
Jesus.
He got so paranoid.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a good dude. He's
And
gone.
then Jimmy finally stepped up.
Dude,
and that's
you
what
should get your
calmed
buddy
it
to
all down.
reopen it, man.
He's gone. He's dead.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm
Yeah.
sorry
No,
to hear that.
that's where drinking will take you. He vibrant man.
he did not drink before we started that.
Real.
Are you
That
saying
bar.
we killed him?
No.
David, hang
No.
on a second. I'm gonna need counseling. I drank your leg off and he's dead.
Yeah, but no.
Did he?
you
He didn't
can't
drink at
blame-
all.
Before that, before he started coming to that bar, he didn't drink.
At all?
I don't think so.
sober?
Yeah. Because he'd have like 1 or 2
Damn.
drinks and be drunk, and then
Coach Brett's
he
out
just
here
got
killing
into it
me.
every night. He enjoyed himself.
Man, shout out to Robert.
He ended up, it wasn't from drinking though. He had some problem. The one night he was having a problem at the house, and what is it that would start bleeding and you bleed out?
Aorta?
Yeah, that's what he had.
Oh, he had an aneurysm?
Yeah,
Okay,
the aortic
so
aneurysm. He
No,
bled out.
I just wasted water. So I would pour a purple drink if it was for Robert. He was a vibrant businessman, but he was a bulldog when it came to monies.
Oh, without a doubt.
And that is a major difference between me and some of these business people. They're willing to cut your throat. They're willing to say, "Hey, I'll take 80,000 from you," without knowing the whole story.
Yep.
You know, and for me, I just can't do that. That doesn't mean that I haven't found criminals and that I haven't found people that in my business that have stole from me. But I gave a wise man once told me, "You give a man enough rope to hang himself," and I found that to be true.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, your generation, I mean, they have mentors, but you've seen a lot of the other generation getting screwed, you know, and so y'all are picking different industries and the way you go. Now, nursing is nursing, but yours is just absolute chaos. I got to get you on here with a mic. I mean, the story she has of just boneheads and the things you get to see, the shootings and the DUIs that come in there, and you know, I'm big on marijuana and not drinking. It was good for me. I encourage all my kids to smoke marijuana.
Dude, I did.
I said, if you're going to do one or the other,
that's all I gotta say, man.
I said, if you're going to do one or the other, may I
Oh,
suggest this?
you're not gonna wake up with a headache.
No.
You're not gonna wake up with a hangover. I'm not gonna
You're-
wake up feeling
He
terrible.
didn't do that anyway.
Well, that's because I was an alcoholic, man.
Yeah, you wake up and you drink. That's what I would do.
No, I just.
But he never had a headache.
Man,
He was never hungover.
What?
Bro, I could drink.
Dude,
I could
that's
drink.
crazy.
I would do. I mean, a Patron. I never drink. It was always a.
That's
double.
why it's clean liquor.
I'd still be
Patron is like one of the
No, but-
healthiest liquors you can
Yeah,
drink.
but I did. No, this was. I mean, I would drink a 32-ounce cup of Jack Daniels. It was. I had a Jack Daniels phase. I had a Patron phase. I had a
Yep.
Fireball phase.
Coors
I
Light.
can't
We
do
switched to
Fireball.
Bud Light.
Bud Light, Coors Light, and then whatever wine they set down in front and turned their back, I would pound it. I'd pay for it, but I'd pound it like it was a shot. It was a joke between me and the girls at Island Life.
Yeah,
you
I don't know how he did it because I'd still be hungover at 2 in the afternoon, staying in furniture, and he'd come grab me, and there we went again.
Don't miss that one freaking minute.
I don't either.
And
man.
then, and that is where Xanax, I did not know what it was. I didn't know it was like 6 beers. I had no idea. Now, the courts didn't care about that. And that's where a blackout began with me. I was 300 and some odd pounds. A guy would want to fight me in a bar, and I don't want to fight, man. What was the game? And I'd go out to the car, man, because I'm like raging because I've been drinking and whatever. I'd rage, and I'd pop a Xanax. And about 25 minutes later, I don't remember nothing.
On top of the,
But I didn't know, and they didn't know I was taking it. You know, because I has panic attacks. I thought I was having a panic attack in there. You know, and then I began to rely on it. And that's and I see how people get addicted to, you know, the oxy and all that other stuff. But pills scare me, so it's never been a big.
I've never been.
Yeah.
Once I kind of like, it's kind of crazy. I really don't know how to explain this. I'm just gonna call it the veil. Once the veil of life comes off and you start to look at things a different way, and you look at life in an oh shit way, like I really am only here once. I need to make the most of
When
this.
did that
type of
hit
di-
you?
Probably 2 or 3 years ago. I was in an airport and I was talking to this lady, and I was actually flying back from Utah, and she was telling me about how she works for this super like rich executive or whatever, and she had kids and a husband, and she was taking her family all to Puerto Rico, but she got called by her boss last minute to come to this meeting to get paid like $75,000 just to fly out there, and I made that decision like right then, like if I want to be successful in life, I need to really look and analyze things the way that I want to. Because one day I want to be able to touch that kind of money. I want to be able to touch a couple $1 million, maybe $100 million, maybe $1 billion. I don't know, but I mean, I want to get there.
You've mentioned a lot of money. What about peace? Exactly.
I find peace in the chaos.
I was just about to get into the controlled chaos.
I really do. I find a lot of peace in the chaos.
I know. You know, I was having an intense moment in my head recently. Well, not recently, today. My wife was in the truck with me, and I played a song and cranked it up. No. Back up. The AM 690 was on, and I cranked it up. And they were just talking, but it quieted my mind. I need that sometimes.
The zoo does that for me. I like to go to the zoo.
White noise. You ever listen to that?
She's tried to get me to do it before. I really don't think it works.
So you can't sleep without the TV.
No, I want the TV off. She can't sleep without the TV.
Okay, wait. You want the TV off, but you should.
I don't like waking up with it being on.
Okay.
I hate that because I feel like it wakes me up.
Okay, and it might. That may be true. See, I couldn't study in college, anything without the TV on. Otherwise,
I need music.
Okay,
Music.
so I mean, it's something that has chaos in it, not necessarily like but something, another movement, so that your mind has to focus.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That was always for me. If I had nothing else to focus, so maybe I do have attention to it. I'm like, I'm gone and lost. My brain's going to wander elsewhere. As I've gotten older, I've been able, from Casey Yarbo, before he went cuckoo. See, I didn't know John. I didn't even know he was involved in the business. I thought Casey, he never said he owned it, but I just thought he got me, and it was his check. So I just thought it was me and Casey. I didn't really pay attention to anything. So, but when he was going cuckoo, he mentioned something. He said multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
And I had lost everything due to Would You distributors and all that. When it went away, I wasn't considered honored debtor by the receiver, and so all this money. I was your age, not your age, but a little bit older than you. And I mean, I'm going. I came from a custodian, and my dad had some money, but it wasn't that kind of a family. My daddy don't share money. And so, and I'm okay with that. I ain't got no issues with it. You go make your own. And I did. 17, I moved out, Phillips Highway, and started my way up. Custodian, and kept working my way up. And the roofing thing came because I'd lost, the long term with Would You distributors. And I had all my eggs in one basket. Would You distributors. I was a licensee. I ran the distribution center. I trained all the franchisees. I did all the sales. I mean, there was 300-400 people that responded with me. They weren't all directly underneath me, and gone. Whew. Now what? I was lost, and so Casey was good for me at that moment, and Storms United was very good for me at that moment. And Casey took me to a roof. I was scared to death of heights, but I was going to feed my family. I was 305 pounds, and I didn't. The first one we went to was in McClenny, and I think it was like an 8-12 pitch. It wasn't. I mean, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, but he only put the ladder. He never did the ladder right. He only put the ladder a little over. Well, his little skinny butt and because back then you would meet the inspectors, ran up the thing, and I just stayed on the ladder, and I was wondering, how the hell am I going to do this? And I just kept diving into the uncomfortable, knocking doors, posting, being willing to look at people, and just.
Man, you'll find that you really can do whatever you put your mind to, man. That's crazy.
Especially if you speak it out loud.
Oh, I'm a very firm believer in it.
Manifestation.
So I watched, and I encourage anybody that watches this podcast to go watch this movie. It's called The Secret. You can get it. You can watch it on Amazon. It's like $3 or $4 to rent. But JC had actually showed me that, and
So what is it about?
Watch this. Manifestation, you like what you say.
He's
That's
right.
why I'm so big on what you say. It will affect you. It will affect everything around you. Just like I'm very like when somebody starts talking crazy and stupid around me, it pisses me off because I'm looking at you like you're an idiot. One and two, I feel like I can't talk to you because you're talking about stuff that I feel like is. Well, I don't want to say like I feel like is dumb, but just is dumb because
Wasted energy.
Yeah, wasted. You're wasting air talking about stuff that doesn't matter.
Now, see, I do that, and so that it's interesting because you don't realize how mature you are past even. That's why I say age is not the greatest thing of wisdom.
Yeah.
Because I will find myself rambling about.
Oh,
things.
I do it too, but it just like there's a time and a place
There
for
is.
it. I'm very
There
like
is.
focused all the
But
time.
when we get into business, I can get very direct. I
I'm
can
very
get, yeah.
hyper vigilant on what's going
Yes.
on and
Yeah.
like professional and
Yeah.
I'm very much trying to dot my T's or dot my I's and cross my T's. Dot my T's.
Do you look at the people around you like I did, like when I was in electrical and in construction? I looked at the 50. I'm 54 now. I looked at the 50-year-olds and what they look like, and I said, okay, there's not a one of them that doesn't have a bad back, a bad ankle, a bad this, and that's when my mind began to shift. Okay, this industry isn't for me. You know, even roofing. Dude, I about fell off a couple of them, and I mean, I've seen.
I've gotten close.
Right, and we run around. Well, I just lost my dearest friend of all. I mean, I've never had a mentor like this, that falling off a roof and breaking his neck, and we're supposed to be locked up. We're supposed to, but who does it? I didn't.
No,
You
I mean
know.
when you're inspecting roofs, man, nobody's got a lasso on. Nobody's wearing that.
Well, here's what I
crap,
did.
dude.
I walked away from roofs. If I pulled up to it, and I was like, nope. If it's a short roof with an 812 pitch, I don't care if it's 812. I'm not doing it. I'll let you guys get it. I always look for the ones that had the valleys I could run up and down in. If something went wrong, I could get to a valley.
Yeah.
I'll do. And I'll climb the biggest roof in the world. But if it's just one of those straight, long,
Oh, just straight gable.
Bubba, come
Oh, my
on.
God,
There was one one of my first ones I did, and it was just straight down. Yeah, I'd say no. And it was only 812, but it was so long. And then I had a guy who taught me how to get big and just stay wide if you're sliding. You know, it's almost like you're sliding on baseball, and he did it on the roof and stopped himself.
I almost fell off a 2-story metal roof that I was inspecting in.
Did you have the right
Fort
boots?
Charlotte.
you
No,
have the-
I
you
got
don't
my
have the
drone
mag-
stuck on this dude's roof.
Oh
First
my
of all.
gosh!
So then I had to. So this was when I first got into roofing too, and
It's
I
always
get up
that way.
there. I get up there and like I'm like, oh, it doesn't look that bad, and then I'm standing on it, and then it starts raining, and you know how metal is.
Oh, yeah?
when it's raining, it's slick. So like I'm freaking out trying to.
You know, Tiger Claw makes a metal
Yeah,
roof
I do.
shoe.
I know that
Do you
now.
have them now?
No, I don't have them now. They're $400 shoes. I'm not. I need to get them, but I mean, I don't feel like biting the bullet on
$400
shoes.
shoes.
Or falling off a roof.
$4,000 surgery.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you make sense when you put it that
Well,
way.
my father-in-law fell off a roof, broke his back, and he's never been the same since. They've fused and fused.
I mean, and they don't always work too, because I mean, like some roofs are steel, some roofs are aluminum. Aluminum is not. Those cougar paws aren't going to stick to
I
aluminum.
guess it's true. Well, that's why I call guys like you.
He used to.
What,
I go,
the
hey,
ones
listen.
that'll get on the roof?
Yeah, I go, hey, listen, you can have
He used to make me
you can-
sit in the truck in case he fell off.
I did. I didn't know what I was doing, man. Well, that's after I left all them, and I started doing my own. And I mean, I had nobody, and so I was like, dude, I was still new at it. You know, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to figure this out on my own. I got my own roofing companies, got me some attorneys, and started building my own system. And I'd have David come sit, and
Yeah,
he
he's like,
can't
if I
climb.
fall,
Just call somebody if I fall, you know. Because I mean, now at that time I climbed every roof. I don't care how.
You
scared
had
I
that
was.
ladder all the way up on that roof.
I had to make some money
Yeah.
fast, so and I did, and God was good, and He blessed. Because I think He does bless hard work.
Now, when you guys are
He
talking about
does.
John and JC and them, are they the guys I met when we went to the meeting and stuff?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah. You actually went to one
Yeah.
of the meetings. It was about the time they started doing meetings. I started fading away.
Yeah.
and they continued to grow and did well.
No,
and,
I was putting names together. I was like, that's got to
Yeah.
be where it was.
yeah, they got a good system.
Yeah.
and have branched out and have built relationships. And that's not how he and I met.
No.
We didn't know we know each other. And
I didn't know you do anything about
I
that.
didn't either. We were just talking casually. And
until I mentioned roofing, and you were like, you do roofing?
yeah, I think I mentioned Casey Yarborough or something like that. But anyways, so that's weird. So listen, I'll talk about this one. I mean, I don't want to talk about all the other stuff because I respect people regardless.
You need a pillow.
Are you comfortable over there?
I should have got her. There's a chair right there too.
This one's got padding in it.
Yeah, okay. So we care. Even offset, we care. Be careful with marijuana. There are some people who, if they smoke, will go immediately bipolar. And I watched a man, I didn't know John, and I didn't know, well, he didn't have anybody else. It was just Casey. And I knew Casey. And it was when he went bipolar that obviously, you know, the investment gentleman had to step in. And I mean, obviously, he's got to protect his
investment.
Oh, he's a good businessman, dude. That dude ran a good. It ran so much smoother. It was coming. It just wasn't. You know, it wasn't for me. I was the other route. I'd already tasted the other route. But anyways, Casey had smoked, and all of a sudden I get a call, and he's at 2:00 in the morning, like waxing his board, and his wife calls me. He's waxing his surfboard or something. I'm like, what? And I had smoked at that time, and he didn't get it because of me, but I never gave him any. But I think he was doing that sativa, or I don't know. There's certain brands with certain people that affect them a certain way. Test it around somebody first, and if you have a funky feeling, it ain't for you. I would first suggest the holistic, because there are natural remedies.
Hey, technically, weed is holistic. It's grown in the ground.
It absolutely, you do nothing to it, and that
exactly.
is. But I've been arguing that since the '80s, and I've been,
Well, I mean, they've kind of changed the genetics around of those things.
Well, they can.
Plants
They can genetic do that, but it's still a natural flower that's grown, cut. And it's cultivated and nurtured, but they're not spraying it, with a PCP like the '80s. You had to be so careful because it was all Mexican junk weed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just popping seeds. Y'all got it so damn made. You just pop. I mean, you sit there for half a day popping seeds, throwing stems out, and they just dip it in whatever they dipped it in at that time to make it give you a little more of a woo. It was junk weed. The industry today is regulated, for health purposes, and if you follow the doctor's guidance, see, people think you always buy marijuana to get high. I get low THC. And there's benefits to that, and it's not, for me. It's not. To be honest with you, I couldn't get high if I wanted to. I mean, I can smoke.
The low terps is you want terpenes. Not
See, I didn't even know what that was. That's where That's where when I walked in, young people like y'all began to educate me about.
Yeah, you're
weed.
sitting there going, "I want the high THC," and you're like, "No, buddy, you don't want that. You want the terps."
Right.
I had to explain that the other day to somebody who had just got their med card. A friend of mine, and he was like, he's like, I just got all the ones that had like high THC, and I was like, Jimmy, you done messed up.
Right.
And I was like, you need to go back in there and look at the terpene levels.
Yep.
What's a terpene?
My inflammation's down.
It's real.
It's absolutely real. My energy levels were up. It allowed me to then get healthier.
Dude, I used to have chronic neck pain. Dude.
Yep.
I still do, but it's no.
It's less than. It absolutely is. It is. And I mean, I do a lot more stretching. I'm older, so it takes a little bit more and all. Yeah. But I was actually training a guy. I'm going to jump back on injury or almost killing yourself on roofs. I was training a guy. I think Casey had put me with him. And I'm shooting a video. Well, I'm an idiot. I was walking backwards, right? I wasn't supposed to be. So, but it had hailstorms, and I had won a bunch of hail claims, which you don't win in Florida, but I'd won them. And so and they had turned it down. Well, this now had crease shingles and damaged shingles. So I got back up there, and I'm shooting the video, and the guy won't hush while I'm shooting the video. And so off screen, I'm like this, and I'm walking back, I'm paying attention. Well, there was a gap on the gables, and there was a gap in between. And I still have the video where I'm walking, and all of a sudden my next foot is missing, and I'm going down, a story and a half or so. And I pushed myself onto I just threw myself on the other gable, and you just see the camera, and you see me getting up, and all you hear is, don't ever walk, because I was supposed to be training them. I was like, don't ever walk backwards on a roof. I about killed myself, man. Oh my my gosh. And you know what's so funny? That claim, this is how stupid you insurance companies are. It's why I hate insurance companies.
Dude, it's a scam.
It's a
dude.
scam. So they denied that and Casey was a freaking idiot. They denied the claim because Casey, well, you didn't have adjusters at the time. So we would go up there with them. Casey didn't have a ladder. No, Casey got an adjuster. The adjuster didn't have a ladder that would reach up there because it was one of those second stories are really
Two-story,
short,
yeah, it
a
was a
really
two-story
short,
roof.
right?
Yeah.
But it didn't have a connection too where you could walk your way up it.
Yeah.
And the guy obviously wouldn't let him up on the ladder, so he was up there by himself making his own assessments, and obviously it got turned down. So a year later, storms come through, shingles are on her ground. She calls me again, and I get up there. By then I'm on my own, I think. Yeah, I think I was on my own. And I get up there, and they deny it because of hail damage. And they had denied it because they denied the hail damage claim a year ago. And then with all the missing shingles and whatever, or increased shingles, they denied it because there was a previous hail damage. And then I told them, I said, you realize it. And eventually I got them. And this is the ugly part of roofing. Eventually I got them approved. And, you know, we have attorneys that we're all involved in. You sign up. So it's not me. And it's not one of those agreements. It's a locked in agreement. We sign and everything. And she ends up leaving and never gets the roof. Sold the house. Has a pre-approved roof and won't get the roof. And I'm like, they went my money. Took me 3 years.
I had a sales guy. Literally the same thing just happened to him.
Mhm.
Roof got approved, and the homeowner was like, "I don't want to deal with it," and
Yep.
sold the house.
Yep.
Sold the house. I was like,
Yep.
"So you just sold a home that needed a new roof to
I mean-
somebody that's gonna need to put on a new roof?" And I mean, roofs aren't cheap, dude.
They're
I don't
not
know if
cheap.
you've seen the price tag
Oh,
on
yeah.
a roof, but 30 squares will cost you about 15, 18 grand
Yep.
a pop.
Yep. Well, raw materials, I mean, in the furniture business, raw materials just skyrocketed. You know, and that's why I enjoyed the insurance side because I saw so much ugly from the insurance. It was fun to kick their butts. But there's so much ugliness in that industry now for me. Not from like other competitors, although there were some. Like the one across my street. He called me at 6:45 in the morning.
No.
One morning and said I was posting on the residence page. He was like, "You can't you can't say what you're claiming." I was on my own by then, and whatever I was claiming, you could. He thought he knew the new laws that had got passed. Well, you are allowed to make a claim about this, and this. I sat with attorneys and knew exactly what I was allowed to say, and I guess I'd taken a couple of houses from him. And so me being the Brett that I am, I said, "Look, man, I'm busy right now. If you need me to come over and train your salespeople, I charge $150 an hour." And I hung up on him. So, and that guy, but I knew him. He had actually repaired my roof. I was one of those guys who couldn't afford, and this is how I got in the business, that I couldn't afford the roof. My shingles were missing on a hurricane, so it was a hurricane deductible, and I had some guy come that was in no.
Well, when you were doing roofs, what was the hurricane deductible? Was it still
Mine
like
was
2%?
like 5,000. No, I was a flat.
Dude, it is like 10% of the total price of the home.
Yep.
I was like, "Excuse me?"
And yet the premiums aren't going down.
Yeah, the premiums aren't going down, and they're making it to where now they're making it harder and harder to where like they're trying to make it to where they're only paying like a percentage of the roof. Then why are you collecting big premiums?
Yep. Something's going to have to change.
I know, yeah,
But-
it's gonna happen.
But to be honest with you, it's going to be you guys in your generation because I went to Publix and I couldn't believe what 117 how little it bought me, and I was buying a bunch of BOGOs, buy one get one.
dude, go to Aldi. Shout out to Aldi. We went to Aldi today, and we got quite a bit of stuff. It was like $55. I go to Walmart. Dude, I walked out of there with a $176 bill.
Yep.
I was like, I got 5 bags of groceries
the
sitting
prob-
here, man.
The problem with Aldi's, I like Aldi's. I go by there because we live near one now that we moved. Is they don't always have everything you need.
No, they don't.
It's like if you want fish, it may not be there, and so
I
but
just get the stuff that they got and keep it moving.
they got a great system.
I'm all about saving money.
They got Well, that will make you money because
I knew a man who grew a business and grew his funds beyond what they should have been able to grow. And he told me this. He goes, it's not how much you make, it's how much you spend.
No.
And so whatever, I was blessed. So whenever somebody screwed me in business and took money from me, or I lost, Woodview was closing down, I had no clue, and all of a sudden I'm not an honored debtor and I lose serious money, and I've had to start over 4 times. I mean, once maybe you could call was more on my part, but the rest of them were just people screwing me. And that's when I got into multiple streams of income. I mean, I have my sports agent's advisor's license. I do this podcast, not to make money, but it's more to grow me and learn from you guys, from the youth, and from what you guys gain from the idiocies of your parents, which is my generation. So I know my son, Zach, which I know you know, Bam has more wisdom in his little pinky finger at times than I do in my whole
He
damn
does.
body.
I'll tell you a story that you don't know about him.
This boy had...
Dude, so we were, and this is why I knew when I saw Zach at school again, I knew exactly who he was. So this was like the first time I had like pitched in a long time, because I mean, I was throwing like dog shit. And I think Coach Hawkins wasn't there that day, and you were like, yeah, you're going to start Suttles. And I was like, okay, cool. And I'm sitting there and I'm leaning against the fence, and I was talking to Zach, and I was like, dude, I don't think this is going to be a good day. And he's like, why not? And I was like, because I usually don't throw that well. And I kind of laughed, and he's like, well, just go out there. And he's like, if you hit him, you hit him. If you don't, you don't. And I just kind of chuckled, and I went out there, dude, and I pitched like one of the best games I'd ever pitched as a kid, man. Like, I remember going out there, and you were like, oh, my God, where's this been at?
And there was Bam has the ability to when he went out of college, we sent him out to Seattle to hang out with the pros, because he's a pro now. He's playing in minor leagues, or he's about to play in minor leagues. So he goes out there. He had hurt himself or whatever. No. He'd been throwing about 89, 90. He was starting to climb back up 91. He gets out there. He's all tense. That's, the problem was he's just stressed. He's around first-round drafters, and they're not there judging him, but they're all spin rates, and they put balls, little balls all on you, computer stuff, drive line out there. And he stayed out there for 3 months. And the first throw, he has all these guys watching, and he threw 84 miles an hour. And this kid, so that means he dropped 6 to 7 miles an hour from what he had been throwing. And he kept trying and trying. And it was getting lower and lower. He was throwing 82 to 84 miles an hour. And he called me pissed off.
I bet. I would be too.
Because he knows what he can do. And here he is around all these guys. It's like you being around a lot of roofers, and me as well. We want to be a part of. And but this is why he is where he is today. And I believe why you're going to be where you're going to be is he told me about it at first, and he was all beat up and dejected a little bit. And then, I could hear this wailing of just not rage, but controlled, just, He said, Dad, if all I got's 84 miles an hour, he said, then I'm going to mow him down with fucking 84 miles an hour. I don't think he said the fucking, that's me. But, and I had tears in my eyes. He doesn't cry as much as I do. I had tears in my eyes because I knew that was a winner. That was a grinder. And within a couple of days, he's sitting in another room and they're doing spin rates. His spin rate was higher than most of those guys that were throwing 96 miles an hour. And they told him this. They said, how fast you throw? And he said, well, right now I'm doing 84, 86. And they're going, impossible. You cannot have that spin rate and only throw 84. You should be throwing 90 to 92 miles an hour minimum. And within 3 days, he jumped up to that because his mental, somebody that he respected told him, and we had a window there of he had set his own ceiling. You haven't set a ceiling. Who taught you that?
Nobody. I would say at that point, like I was talking about a few years ago, man, when that's the point in time where like things shifted for me, and I was like, that's what I want in my life.
You're serious about life. You're serious about where you want to go.
No, I'm dead ass serious.
Yeah.
People think I'm playing when I say I sit there and I want to be a billionaire. Like,
Yeah.
no, I want to.
I'm gonna
I want
introduce
to
you
be
to
somebody that's important, and at the end of the day, man, it's all about helping people, dude. Like my biggest dream.
I was gonna say why. I'm good now. Now I know why.
My biggest dream would just to make enough money to take on the corruption, dude. Like, I freaking hate it.
Yeah.
I can't stand it, dude.
May
I
I-
mean, it'll probably get me killed one day, but I mean,
Yeah.
at least I'd go out doing something honorable.
Well, just call me. I'll come with you with the guns and die. But the machine you're trying to fight is deep.
Oh, I know it.
I mean, you know, they got people in prison and dead.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I will tell you this though, your generation can do it through the politics of. It just takes time, and the patience you're talking about is what it's going to have to be. And I don't care if it's Republican, Democrat. I hate the two parties. Man, we need multiple. We need many ways and many options. You know. All right. So let me ask you this, because I want to wrap this up. I do want to have you on here later as well. I want to know. I want to know where you see not just the billionaire, but I mean, is it roofing? Are you staying in roofing? Do you know? Do you have an idea of? I mean, you know where you want to be. So how do you get there?
I have come up with quite a few things. I've got crypto investments, so obviously, stock exchange. I mean, that's always going to be there for me.
Yeah.
And then
You doing well in it?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
When that GameStop thing happened a few years ago, when I was in the Navy, I was getting yelled at because I was trading while I was with a patient. I was doing a blood donor with patients and having to hook them up to a machine, and you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I made
and
it.
they have to sit there and wait for an hour, so I'm
Right.
sitting there on my phone day trading,
Right.
dude. I made probably 15 grand in 5 minutes, and I was like, oh my God, that's how and that was another moment that I look back on, and I'm like, it shouldn't take an hour to make $30, or it shouldn't take an hour to make $25. Like
Caleb Ross. He makes his calls. I think he's now started an Instagram page. I'm gonna get him on here, but he's a big crypto and has done very well. I made a good bit of money on Dogecoin thanks to Reddit and your generation, because I was following you after the GameStop. I started chasing you guys. Well, these guys on Reddit, and and I got into some subs, and they were talking about this thing called Dogecoin, and so I dove in, and it
it's
ended up,
important, dude.
well, I was forced to sell it, unfortunately, by unscrupulous big boy banks. You know, to get from the redneck plumber, I mean the redneck, custodian I was, to get to the next level, it's a hard leap, and it's taken me a lot of years. But I'm watching your generation, like Caleb and people like him, doing it much quicker. And so don't think I can't learn from y'all. And that's why I love you guys taking time and sitting down with us and letting me pick your brain a little bit. You know, you had some tragedy, but there seems to be a lot more positivity, mentors, and lifestyle. I mean, you've really had a pretty clean life.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a pretty good noodle. Never been to jail. Never been to any of that. I try to keep my nose as clean as possible.
Yeah, but it's
and
because you
surround myself with good people.
And you have that switch in your brain that says no. And, yeah, and that's normal to you. There's a lot of us that don't have that no switch, and so it's very intriguing to me. And I don't know if I'm gonna get the answer tonight, but I think I'm gonna drag you back on here down the road, and especially get your beautiful bride on here and start picking her a girlfriend. What do you want to be called? Fiance, whatever. We'll see as time. Hey, and
She's
that's
good,
true.
though, dude.
No,
That's
but
a
you know
good
what?
woman
And that's
right
true.
there.
And I don't mean to act like that, because that's absolutely true. Because I've watched my daughter separate from a guy who was a good guy. And sometimes life takes us in different directions.
Yeah.
I just know this, whatever happened. I've been married for a long time. I would stalk her, and nobody'd ever be happy with her. So, until I was in jail. No, I'm just kidding. I honest to God, if something ever happened with me and my wife, I would want to be good friends with whomever she was dating. That will surprise you, but you watch. Or married, and because life's too short. I want to focus on what matters, man. I don't want to focus on those that hate me or those that I don't like.
I tell her that all the time. I'm like,
I'm not
is
good
it gonna
at it.
matter? Is it gonna matter 10 minutes from now? No. Okay. Why are we crying about it? Why are we
Okay, so
complaining
you're
about
a
it?
mix. I want more. I got to pick your brain more. I don't think I have time today. I'm that. I'm more that. Man, I will replay that film over
Oh,
and
I
over.
do it too, but I do it in my head. She does it out loud, and she wants to talk about it, and I'm like,
Oh yeah,
dude.
I walk back and forth marching and talking. I mean, I had a guy on Blanding just the other day that was sitting there. I'm in my van and he's doing 40 in the fast lane. I go around him. He's not happy. I get 2 lanes over, and then we're right there before 295, and he stops with his window down. And I have my window down, and I'm at traffic now. He doesn't have traffic now. He's right there, and he's parked. He's got his car parked at an angle. Next thing I know, everybody's moving. He's not moving. And he's looking at me. I mean, he's got his window down. I got something for you. I got something for you. He's a gangster wannabe. You know, little dreads. Listen to his gangster music, you know. And don't get me wrong. I know some real boys. And shout out. I bow. But this boy here, a real boy don't chirp. And he's just sitting there chirping and chirping and chirping. He starts acting like he's going to get a gun. Man, reach down. It's right there, right? I went, I just said it on the dash. I said, "Oh," like an idiot. And his eyes wide and big. I said, "Hey, Bubba." I said, "Your friends ain't around." I said, "Just me and you." I said, "Go or go." And he knew what I meant. And off he went. And off I went 295. I am not backing up to death. I will not back up from a bully anymore. Not one more damn time. I'm done. This world needs to be broken, and we need to have a gap in it and have a side. You're an asshole. You're unethical. And that's why that little book's back there. The Emperor New Clothes. Read your kid that book when y'all have it.
Oh, you're a Larry Bird fan?
Oh my God! Don't get me
Oh,
started.
boy.
There's another hour and a half, man. Larry Bird, John
Dude,
Wayne.
Larry Bird. I like to watch film on Larry Bird because, like, he moves like Luca, bro. He moves exactly like Luca,
Yep.
and he sits there and gets a shot off, and you're like, how the hell did he do that?
He shot.
Oh, he shot
behind
so
his-
far
it was
back. You were never
behind
gonna
it.
block it.
You're never gonna block it. But back then you could fight. I mean, it
Oh, I
was
know.
an aggressive. That what we grew up watching
Malice at the
basketball.
Palace,
There's a-
baby. Malice at the Palace.
Oh my gosh,
It's
man!
not the same game.
It's not the
It's
same
not,
game.
dude. Shaq was talking about it the other day about how LeBron's like 40 years old.
He'd have
and,
never made it to
and how
40.
he'd have never made it to 40
Nope.
in the league that Shaq
That's
played
why.
in.
That's why I respect Michael Jordan so much.
Oh.
If you just seen, go watch, and this is on Netflix. You got to go watch this one. Go watch when Detroit, the Bad Boys. There's a 2-part series.
Yep.
And it talks about the time with Michael and how they purposely, I mean, they were taking him by the shoulders and slamming him, and Michael would just pop up and keep playing. Now you just a light touch, you know, and it's a foul. They take
Last
the fun
night
out.
they called a flagrant foul on one of the guys because he went up for a layup. The guy
Bubba.
tried to block it, and he accidentally hit him in the face.
How were you not texting me? We're going to shift just a second for basketball. How were you not texting me with the Final Four here? Duke had so many bad calls. That one big boy for
Who's playing tonight?
Gators, baby.
Houston and
Okay, I
Florida.
don't
That's
care
why
about the
you're here
Gators.
early.
I don't care about the Gators.
I know.
Who's playing
Houston.
the Gators?
Houston
Houston?
Bubba.
Duke didn't make a basket in the
In
last
10
10 and a
minutes,
half
yeah.
minutes of the game, and they lost by
They choked.
3.
I've never
Man,
seen.
that's some good defense right there, baby.
Well, the other thing was Houston. They run hard and they are big, but now Florida, they just got that smooth.
This
depth.
is Florida.
That's
This
Florida's
is the
year.
year.
It's
Dude.
theirs to lose.
Yep.
If they get hot, but I mean, not Kimball, but Clayton Jr.
Yeah.
34 points. I mean, he's just floating through 7-footers
I
and
think
just.
he's averaging 24.
Oh my gosh, you're done with Flag.
Oh, he's done. He's gone.
Yeah, he gone.
Oh, dude, he's going to the league.
You got to make
Oh,
money.
it was
Oh,
going to be one
yeah.
of the top 5 picks.
Well, I mean, even as a
Oh,
rookie,
he don't even need to make money, man. He getting paid right there,
yeah,
right
but watch
now.
this. He's making $3 to $5 million
He's
in
gonna make-
college. He'll make 18 to 20 million as the top pick at first year.
yeah.
Plus endorsements. And he's a white boy, and they can all hate all they want, but I mean, he only got 20%. So if you got just like the Caitlin, that's why she's so. I mean, not only is she dynamically good, but she's a Caucasian.
She gets a lot of hate, dude, just
because
for being
she's white. But Larry Bird went through it.
I just think it's funny that she gets a lot of hate from all the other players, but
And
they don't
she's so
realize how
nice.
much more she's making their league better
Yeah.
for them to make more
It's
money.
hilarious too, because you'll see these players like I'll tell you one who pisses me off is Angel Reese. She sits there.
She should be done.
And she was talking on this podcast the other day about we need to make more money and because we're doing it, and it's like, dude, you work for a business that doesn't make any
anything.
money.
Yep.
They're negative like
None.
42 million every year.
Yep.
Yeah.
She doesn't get it.
And it's like, bro, do you not understand how
No.
money works? Like,
No,
it's got to come from somewhere.
They live in the delusional world. No, they will keep the WNBA alive. They will
I know
never
they
shut
will,
that
but
down.
like to
Yep.
sit there and ask for the same amount of money that
But the
LeBron James is
revenue's
getting
not
there.
paid, bring in
Yeah.
the revenue that LeBron
I'll-
James brings
I'll
in,
be
bro.
honest with you. I don't know how people watch pro basketball anymore. It's so boring.
It's all threes, bro. It's
Yeah.
all threes. It's
Now-
so
now-
annoying. I can't watch it.
Now the Golden State, I get going to them, but I mean when you watch a typical just no name 76ers versus somebody, the Nets
It's
or whatever,
boring.
They're just
it's-
chucking three.
and
after
and
three
and yet
after
it's
three.
packed. I think it's more of a corporate. I think a lot of doctors bring their
Yeah.
clients, but I mean there's people that it's not even fun to sit and watch. I would find something else to do.
And it's expensive to go to a
And
basketball game.
I love basketball.
College is way more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Than the NBA.
The girls' basketball actually, and I've said this before, is becoming more enjoyable because they pass the damn ball and they play it like basketball used to be. You know, the dunks. You're 7'1", man. I'm
You
not
jump
impressed.
2
I
inches.
think they should lower the rim, bro.
For the girls,
I think they should, dude.
there's some
They already give
seven-footers.
them a different ball.
that's true. Put it down to 9.5 and watch the difference. If you just dropped a half inch,
Dude, do it at 9. Just do it at 9. Leave it there.
but
and
then
I
but then
think-
I'm gonna identify as a woman and I'm gonna dunk over them hoes. Boom. What?
Oh
I can't do
my
that?
God. No, that was funny.
But Trump stopped all that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so but I really don't care because there is some of y'all have gotten a little wayward. Usually the people that go to college and get the arts degrees and all that.
Dumb.
Yeah, and so there's this guy who's a nice fella. Has found his place in the marijuana world. Very educates me on the different strains because I don't want to get high. I want this for inflammation and all this or to sleep. And nope, that was at the thrift store. This guy's at the thrift store. So I go walking in the thrift store, and it was St. Patty's week, so they had all the green and white out, and it's a long runway to go through, windy. So I'm walking through, and I'm looking at all the shirts, and it was in between busy time, and they are standing right there. And it had a tree one, you know, and it was about marijuana, and it said tree service or something. You know? And I was like, yeah. And it was $20, and every other shirt was like $6. And I turned around, I didn't know it was him, her, they, them, but I said, look at y'all. I said, you get all us potheads. I said, you're charging us more. That's not right. Just being funny. And then as I got to him, he rang me up. She rang me up. I still don't know which way to call her, him. And this is what confuses us people. And so I'm sitting there, and I look at the name, right? Give me my first gauge. Terra. Terra. Damn. Which way is that? I don't know. If it had an I, I knew it'd be a girl. So, and then he has these beads.
Terra.
Terra.
Yeah, that's a chick's name.
That's what I figured. But it's a guy with a beard. He has a beard. It's not as good as yours. You got a nice beard, by the way.
Appreciate
Sorry.
it.
My boys would be sweating. But he had the little patchy beard, but he's got a necklace, and it's just jewelry, costume jewelry, but it's got a bunch of. I'm very confused, man. So I don't know which way. And so when he gave me my receipt, I said, thank you, sir. I mean, ma'am. And as I'm walking away, I'm like, I don't mean to offend you. And he's just cracking up because I'm being that Generation X idiot that doesn't get it.
Bro, I don't get it. So, I mean, you're good.
Look, it's pretty simple. You get in the shower and you're this or you're that.
Yeah.
Now,
agree.
you may have desires to be the others and have at it. Just don't ask me to pay for it. I mean, we're giving prisoners and all that. I don't even want to get into all that. That'll come later in another space. How many in your generation do you think don't get it like that?
What do you get? What?
Like the he, they, them, their.
Oh, I mean, I would say quite a few of them do get it, which is kind of what pisses me off about it. Because it's like, dude,
mean, in
you're
your
over
friend
here
group.
oh, my friend group? Hell, none of them.
Well, because birds of feather flock together, so you're not going to hang out with.
Hell no,
Right.
dude. Keep that foolishness. You can live like that and do whatever you want over there. I don't care. I'll even be friends with you, but don't sit there and shove it down my damn throat.
That's the big thing. It's interesting that the respect they demand isn't respect that is desired to be given.
Yeah,
Because if you're going to get to any kind of a resolution, you got to be willing to talk things out about things you don't like, about uncomfortable things.
Yeah.
Like my boys and my kids, man, I talked about everything: sex, vagina. It was just to where there was no taboo. Nothing shocked them, you know. I mean, with this guy, I mean. And so they walked into the world as, you know, prepared to live with a bunch of knuckleheads. And we got girls wearing vagina hats in Washington. I still don't understand it. Man, believe in what you believe in. But if you're going to reach the masses, you're going to have to talk like the masses talk.
I agree.
You're going to have to be willing to admit faults. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Dave knows me. I hate politics. I mean, I like politics.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like,
but I hate. Oh, I'm gonna get into it. I will get into politics eventually, but it'll be for a different reason, because this thing can adjust, and that's how we make a difference. I won't make a difference, by the way. Me getting into politics, I'm not all of a sudden going to be this world-renowned change. But one guy gets in, and then the next person goes in behind him, and each time people like you and I get in there, it gets better. You know, and I think the same way that they've overtaken this world, and when I say they, I mean just the mentality, not like an individual, but the mentality.
It's college, dude. I feel like it's college. It's an indoctrination system. Like
100%.
I've seen videos, like just reels of like dudes and women. They go to school like their freshman year, and by their junior year, they're hair is colored, they're wearing piercings, they don't know what gender they are, and I'm like, dude, who confused you?
I have a cousin's daughter, so whatever that is, I have no idea. So I call her a niece, but I have a cousin's daughter who loved the Bible, loved this, loved that, great life, wasn't going to do anything, save herself for marriage and all that good stuff. Next thing I know, she's living with somebody. Now she's this, that, and the other. Oh, wait a minute. She's a women's libber. She shaves her head. So she's an extremist. She shaves her head, and all her Facebook posts, or I'll have to pull it up one day. I mean, I think I blocked her or unfollowed. I don't want to see it anymore. And it's just everything was political and women and women and women and women. And I'm all for women's rights. I mean, I am the first joker there. But, I mean, there's everybody's got an opportunity. Here's what I want the world to know. You don't have the rights you think you have. You don't have the rights to infringe on me and what I want to do. You don't have the right to infringe on it. And so go do your thing. But if you're going to do your thing, live with the consequences. They want to do their thing, whomever that is. If you want to go be a WNBA and you want to try to make a business of it, and you fail, live with the consequences. But they won't. We will provide Title IX, and we will cover it. Now, don't get me wrong. I want women to have athletic, but I mean, men's baseball doesn't even make financial money. It's probably basketball and football are the only two in any college that make money. So it can be said on all sides. This isn't just a female thing. But if you ran a college like you run a business here, you're either going to be in business or you're going to be out of business. And I don't have the answers. I think that's where all you smart people come in, because we gave it our best shot. Okay, so final words. You are done with roofing. It has failed. It's not going to. I'm not manifesting that. I'm just saying a collapse happens in your life, because I haven't seen one yet or heard one. Where do you go? What's your first move? I mean, you've lost it. I mean, the roofing doesn't work. You can't make any more sales. Have you already built a ship prior to that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I see. You know what I saw on his face, and he sort of answered it as, that'll never happen. What are you talking about?
No, that's not an option.
That's right.
That's not an option. So like I look I think it was one of the Tate brothers that said this. It was, you're a different man when it has to happen. When it has to happen. Like you go to the casino, you have $2,000, rent's due tomorrow, you need $4. I need to roll a 6 in order to make another 2. I have to roll a 6. What happens if you don't roll a 6? No, you're not understanding me. I have to roll a 6.
See, I'm
going to roll a 6.
I know, but I would take that 2,000, go on Craigslist and buy every couch I would sit and said I have to sell these couches for $400 every one of them by tomorrow.
I mean, figure
That's
out
what
your
I
way
do.
to do it.
Because I think the gamble way, I bet you there's a lot of guys that are out of it. Going, damn, I thought I had it. I had one guy that told me, I got into investment with him too. It was a water plant. And he swore, he said, my wife had a dream, and it was all, and I'm looking at him, and that's when I know I was screwed. I was like, your wife dreamed that we were going to be successful? Oh, shit. And so I started asking for data, and all. I got my money back out, but I was the only one to get my money out because I saw it. That was a close one. I mean, they had pictures of the water, and it was down.
Man, we were going to be living in Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. We had a place to go down and hang out, and then all of a sudden I found out who Peter was. And I was like, oh my gosh. So if you ever run a scam like a party, yeah,
No.
Puerto Rico's a real good place to do it.
No, I don't even have my passport, man.
Yeah, good. That's not a bad thing. There's so many places to see in America. So
There it is, yeah.
Well, I hope you never do deal with the calamity, but I want to forewarn you.
Oh, it's inevitable.
It'll
It's going to
come.
happen.
So
yeah.
that's what I'm asking. So when it does, that doesn't mean the billionaire doesn't come or that the failure happens, but there has to be another route. What's your first thought?
First thought.
Yeah.
I want to know what I have to work with.
There it is. Doom. I'm done. That's all I needed. That's that nugget. Because there's a winner sitting here, and every which
without a
way.
doubt.
And you know, I want to know what I got to work with. I want to open my toolbox. Okay.
Yeah.
I told my wife whenever we were in tight spots, show me every penny, show me where it is. Let me see all the tools I have to work with. Look at my inventory.
Yeah.
Now because
I've had to do that.
I have.
I've had to
absolutely
do
have.
that. When I moved back home and I had no idea what I was going to do, and I had gotten into a relationship with this girl, and then we had broken up, and it ended up being my best friend that was banging her behind my back, and then he got her pregnant, and I was like at a really low point because it was the only person I hung out with.
So
I don't
that
hang out
is
with
a big-
anybody, man.
yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. I ain't got friends.
No, I
dude.
don't either.
I don't hang out. You got him. I hang out with her.
Yeah. Yeah, he
And
doesn't answer the phone
She don't
much.
like me all the time.
Yeah.
She don't like me all the time.
No, people think we hang out a lot, and we do. But recently, it has not. He's had a lot with his mom, and it's probably been 2 years that. I mean, we talk on the phone, via text a lot.
Y'all got podcasts too.
We do have a podcast, and you're right. I do see him in here, and my employees are. That's usually who I have my relationships with, and some of them are about tired of it. Like my wife, she works late, and so our hours are different. And
You do that as an entrepreneur, though,
You do.
man.
It
Everybody
takes-
thinks that it's all cake and
And
the comfortability is in the 9 to 5.
yes,
If you want to be comfortable, go work a
Yes.
9 to 5.
yes.
Go make your $65K a year. Go be happy doing that.
Yep.
That's fine. You're cool with that.
You'll be light years ahead of me, and you'll be on your route to the Johns of this world if you learn how to handle your monies. I have I've made a ton of money, but like my drinking career, you don't even want to know how much I spent. And I'm not talking about just the liquor, what it cost me and the financial side of
Yeah.
it, and then the collapse and the debt and what it took to get out of that. It was years, it gets in the millions. And I mean, opportunities that I wouldn't take. And then
I take them all. I don't care what it is.
I say yes.
I say yeah. I got told this. Say yes and figure out
Figure
how
it
to
out
do
later.
later. Yep.
Dave will hear me. I say yes. There, people walk in here. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even have to ask me. Yes.
I'll
Jill-
figure out how to get it done.
Mhm.
I don't always do. I don't know how, but I do.
Because necessity is the greatest form of invention. When there is no safety net, there's nobody behind you.
Yeah, that's what I talk about.
Okay,
Going to 6.
But just realize the fear you have is a healthy fear. It's not a bad fear. You respect what you have. you know how easy it is to lose it, whether it be a relationship or anything else, and you'll be damned if you're going to go down that road. Just know this, you're saying that today. And tomorrow, through gradualism, it can shift. You can, watch this, you can cheat on her. I can cheat on my wife. I've had people in here go, oh, well, hang on, stay with me. Right place, wrong place, wrong time. If I was drinking and at a bar and I'm 54 and I'm at a 50-year-old hangout place with a bunch of single women and I'm smoking weed and drinking and I've had a bad day and got an argument with my wife, I've just set the whole parameter to at least have a really close opportunity, of having a conversation with somebody who listened to me whine. And then what do you know? Two drunks who don't know what's going on, and you wake up in bed. So what I do, now I can't ever cheat on my wife if I don't put myself in those situations.
Exactly.
And I have my wife cracks up about it. I always say my wife. Dawn Marie cracks up about it, and her mother. I have a geek mechanism. I didn't build it. I don't know where it came from, but I get very nervous around girls if there was any kind of a flirting going on. I always talk about, well, my wife and I and my wife and my wife, and I'm just like trying to drag her into the conversation, because I don't have a ring on, because you lose fingers with rings in the businesses.
I know people that have.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it. And anyways, I always know, like, I never did drugs. I never, I never killed anybody in a wreck, but they taught me to say yet, because that allows me to know, it keeps me humble. To know that, because alcohol kicked my ass.
Oh yeah.
It won. And people like me, and people like you, and people like John. I'm not. They don't drink at all. But people that are like alphas and doers, and people that are much greater than myself. They don't. Nothing can beat them, and that's what got me, man. It was just this isn't going to beat me. I quit drinking for 3.5 years. On my own. There was no court order, no nothing. I had somebody say, you think you might be an alcoholic? I was like, well, if I'm an alcoholic, I can't stop drinking. So I sat it down for 3.5 years. And I went to my wife and I said, do you think I'm an alcoholic? And she did what any intelligent person. Well, he set it down 3.5 years, no issues, and no. And then I said this. I don't remember saying this, but she does distinctly. I said, good. I'm going to go out here and show you this can't beat me. And that's when my real alcoholism took off. Because once I got back into it, it was just, you never start over. Like you quit drinking and you start over. You always pick up. It's always worse when you take. I've seen too many people go back at it, and they're doing it literally in 3 months. They're like in legal issues, or have hurt somebody. Today, I don't want none of that.
Yeah, I know.
So you motivate me. I love having youth on here because you guys, you got that I won't give me. And that still burns in me. And Dave knows that. So getting around you has allowed me to plug in and get a little energized about really who I am as well. And then the nuggets, I don't know if y'all got them. I'm not going back through them. Maybe I'll post them on the comments if we can start getting some people commenting. I'm going to force them to, or I just won't talk to them. So it's my podcast. Y'all can all cancel. I can be down to one. It'll be me and Dave chit-chatting, because this isn't about these people. It's about this and what I gain from it. And that's why I take these little silly notes. Every one of these notes I have in my house, and then I fine tune them. And so the next time we talk, I have other things that you and I can talk about as well. I personally, I didn't get to the point I wanted to go to about the next generation. So I'm going to have y'all back, but I want you back sitting in here. Will you? Okay.
Yeah, you got to come on.
So we'll put 3 chairs in here, okay, and we'll do it in the next month or 2 months. So we'll give it a little bit of time because I got some great people coming. And our first return guest of all, and it was our first guest and our first return guest, Mr. Al Emmerich. His dad was the guy that did Melts in Your Mouth, Not in Your Hands. And he's a voice. He does all the TV commercials. You hear his voice, you just don't know it. And he's a really neat fella and well-connected. I want to get you tied in with Caleb Ross. That man believes in his skill sets, and he will not take no. And whatever he envisions, he does. I don't think I have everything he has yet, but don't think I won't ride them coattails. I can learn from the youth. See, I don't have that ego.
I do it too, man. Like I don't sit there and I mean I will sit there and say the generation below me is a little dumb because I mean I see the stuff that they do and I'm like, bro, y'all are dumb. But I did a lot of dumb stuff.
But I mean, y'all ate tie bombs and everything. We didn't get on to y'all, so I mean, our generation.
I was in the Navy when that happened. I was like, who the hell is eating Tide Pods, bro?
She's dealing with them at the
That's
hospital.
That's her people, not mine.
Listen, my daughter's 19.
Yeah.
I will show you powerful women in that generation. And what's really cool is it's not. We were wild, man. We partied.
Y'all could in your day, though.
Yeah, but you still can. But like my son, he plays baseball. There'll be 15, 20 guys that sit and have deep Bible study after a game. When some of the other dudes are out there at the club doing what I'd be doing, and met a girl saw her in the stands, and hey, we're gonna be over here, and I'd have been hanging out, just having a good time as a young man, living life. And I'm not saying Zach doesn't go out and have a good time, but he knows his limits, and you know your limits. And I didn't learn those limits at your age, and for me, I think one of the greatest skills I gave my children. Well, two things. Was contentment, which was given to me, and the second was the ability to be able to be introduced to life in a gradual manner. I grew up in a really tight, independent Baptist. If you even clap, you were at a church. You know, it was satanic. And so, so when I got out,
I know my grandmother was Baptist, so
okay,
I get it.
Baptists don't. I mean, we were like one step above Dancing with the Snakes. You know, you didn't dare wear that. You better have a dress on. How dare her show cleavage? And I mean, anything. I mean, it was just makeup. Girls didn't wear makeup. It was. So when I got out to college, I just, the world. It was like trying to eat it all at once, and I spent 35 years trying to. No, not quite that long. Yeah, about 30 years trying to figure out and slow down. And sometimes the only thing that slowed me was hitting a wall, and that wouldn't even stop me. I'd get up and go right back at it.
I feel like the military definitely did that for me. If I'd have went to college
Yep.
right out of high school, dude,
Yep.
oh my god.
I actually sat with a recruiter. The reason my middle boy is in there is in the Air Force because I made him think that I had cashed in his prepaid college, and that after the next day, when you graduate college, you better have my rent. And I mean, I had his prepaid college, but he was going to go to FSU and just party. He was an AB student. I mean, he had great grades.
Jacob?
Yeah. I screwed up with Jake. Here's where I screwed up with Jake, and he and I have talked about this. I got on to him. I was mad at him because he was making A's and B's without putting in every bit of effort. He had great grades. What he had done is he had learned the system, and the assignments that were low weight he wouldn't do, so he'd get zeros, and I'd get pissed that he'd get a zero, and I'd punish him. No, like slap him around. We'd have a talk, and you can't ride on your bike for a day, whatever. And but I was hard on him about that. And what I should have done is rewarded him, because that man found a way, like I do in business. I have 2 days that everybody's won, and they don't know how.
I swear. And that's the thing. That's
don't
what
get it.
That's what I call the veil, dude. You're sitting there punishing somebody because they found an easier way to get your job. It's like when I listen to people complain about billionaires, and it's like, oh, well, do you know the difference between 1,000,000 seconds and 1,000,000,000 seconds? Dude, what the hell does that have to do with money anyways? You're just salty that some dude found a better and faster way to make more money than you, and he's sitting at the top of the mountain on his throne, and you're sitting at the bottom of the mountain like a little peasant getting told what to do.
Elon Musk lived on his floor of his car plant for 3 years, lived on the couch.
Yeah, he had a couch.
He was all in. Now, yes, he had a lot of money prior to that. And yes, if you go look at the people he went to school with, they started LinkedIn and they're all big players. But it's what you said, the birds of a feather. That's why I want to get you with Caleb. Y'all are young. I'm literally going to call him. I may even get my real estate license, not because I'm leaving this industry, multiple streams of income.
Yeah,
I don't ever want to look back and go, okay, I lost this. Now what can I do? Nursing.
I mean, other than stealing drugs and everything, your job is, I mean, there's always a need.
To answer your question on what I would probably do, it would probably end up being something in real estate.
Yep.
Or insurance, because I know those are two surefire things that are never going to go away.
I'd go to car sales immediately.
Or that.
Marcus Lemoyne said if he lost, Marcus Lemoyne said, who I don't really like all his political side, but I love him as a businessman. And I actually finally got him. Took me 4.5 years of emailing him every day. And Woodju was struggling, and I was getting in this business 2015. So for 2012 to 2015, and he finally started answering me. And they were very short, but I started getting Marcus's attention, and I had a custom trail mix business called A Nutty Idea, which I'm not done with yet. It'll be back in here. And you would go in and pick what you salted, unsalted. Oh, I hate cashews, but I like these. And you would get more of what you want. We'd mix it and ship it all over. And it was called Nutty Idea. And I was trying to get him to invest. And he then got in with Pete, Sweet Pete's, and he invested in Sweet Pete's Jacksonville. That's why they've blown up. And then I never could quite get him. So I was like, I'm done. So, but the boldness I got Annie Duke. I mean, I've talked to a lot of, now it's only been short. It's not like they call me on the phone, but sometimes a grind is just about relentlessness. I told him, I'm going to email you every day until you answer me. Now, I wasn't the first to do it. He mentioned somebody emailed him 6 years. I said, okay. And I started emailing them, and sometimes they were short.
Dude, I'm going to start doing that with the COO of this one company.
Go to LinkedIn first.
I did. I went on there, and I found him, and he's the COO of this insurance company here in Florida. And I want to be a preferred vendor because, I mean, like, that's where the money's at, dude.
Yep.
I mean, the work comes to you. You don't have to go out there and find it.
Yep.
I have a saying with a buddy of mine, Joe. Shout out to Joe. We call it Allen money. Do you know Alan Cotton?
Mm-mm.
You remember Alan Cotton?
Mm-mm.
He ended up passing away last year, I think. But he was
your age, or
no. He was an older guy.
Okay,
like
gotcha.
he was the Cottons. They went to Fleming. Like
Okay.
Haley and Logan.
If I talked to
and-
Don Marie, I'm sure I'd know
Yeah,
him.
I'm sure you would.
Sure I would.
But,
Just right on my brain.
We have this saying because Alan used to sit in the back and he would just place orders and he would bid on guns all day. He would place the roof orders, like that was all he did.
Yeah.
And he would bid on guns all day.
Yep.
And so me and my buddy Joe would be like, I'm trying to get that Allen money, man. I'm trying to get that Allen money, baby. We still talk about it. We keep his
That's
name
awesome.
alive
That's good.
talking about that.
People don't. I lost a good friend 3 days ago now, and I was talking to his son who was about your age, and I told him, yeah, we leave this earth, but the legacies that we leave, which is so important. I can die today, and I swear to you, this ain't some little, I literally could go today. I had one goal, and that was, you're looking at my 3 kids. I wanted to build viable, powerful young people, young adults.
It's a men thing.
Yeah, I never raised a child. I never talked to Bam like he was a kid. Bam was an attorney when he was little, because if you couldn't define why you wanted what you wanted, I wouldn't give it to you. So he had to learn cognitive reasoning at an early age with me, and I would sit there in the couch, and we played like court of law, and he would have to be the attorney, and he would have to share. I have a video of Sydney. She's 19.
That was a good one.
Okay, Dave saw it.
Yep.
Where she is wanted to go on her first date. What, 19?
No, it was like she was
16.
19.
I was about to go
Like
19.
Yeah,
She
hey man,
grows.
30 years old, David. Shut up.
She was like a sophomore in high school.
Oh yeah, people thought I was gonna be crazy when someone started dating my daughter. I'm not. I surprised everybody because I have a system to it. So anyways, so she wanted to go. It was like 16. Wanted to go on her first date, and I mean I'm the one that let her wear eyeshadow. Not her. Her mom was like, no. I'm like, why? But keep it this. Don't get trailer parky on me. I lived in trailer parks. I know what it looks like. And so she had this computer spreadsheet. She had made it into I'm not smart, one of the spreadsheet things. Yeah, thank you. A PowerPointing. And so she's sitting there as she's talking and clicking and had
Because I think you can let me go because I've always honored your word and I've always done this. And she went, and then she clicks to something else. And by the time she was done, I said, you can go on the date. I have nothing. It was beautiful. She was.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that when I have a daughter.
And she knows. And on there she goes, I know my value. That was a big one. That was a good home run. I know my value. I know my worth, and I wouldn't sell it out for for just a night of this, that, you've taught me what, and I'm like, you're ready to go on a date. I also signed, being a guy who was an idiot with alcohol, I signed a agreement with every one of my kids that no matter where you are, who you're with, where it is, how drunk you are, you'll never be punished. You call me. I will have your car towed home. I will come get you. No questions asked. I'll get you in bed. Don't ever drive drunk. And they lived up to it. And I would have them sign it. And if they violated it, there was a punishment. And I did pick up Jacob drunk, but that was not he didn't even know I knew he was drunk. We got parents buying alcohol, man. That's what's wrong with Fleming Island. Fleming Island is not the children at Fleming Island High School or take Fleming Island out of it.
They buy the alcohol and then they send their kid out into the world, and it's like, dude, do it at home. Don't be an idiot.
Yes.
Here's alcohol. Go have fun.
That's the difference when we were young. Like, Brett didn't get it much, but like my family, they were like, you can drink all you want, just don't leave the house.
Yeah.
That's what mine did.
And what it really is, it's introducing a child to adulthood at an age appropriate. And I'm not saying everybody's going to agree. Or under 21, you should. The brain's not done develop. I get it, but like a lot of people say, listen, these kids are going to do it. Mm-hmm. And so I tried to introduce, like Sydney. I told her, I said, listen, when she was 18, I said, I will roll your first joint. I mean, I would have packed a little light bowl, for her to. I'm not gonna get her a fatty or anything. But if you're interested,
I would roll it fat.
Yeah,
I'll put some dabs in it. She gonna go for a ride.
I don't like dabbing and all that. I just like the flour. I don't even like the pin thing. Gets me sick. I got sick one time. I was in the back of a van for 2 hours. I was on a furniture run. Luckily, he was with me, and I'd gotten
we
a
were
pin.
going to baseball.
Oh, baseball, and I'd gotten a pin. And I started hitting the pin where I hit the pin like I did the flour, and then I got sick in my stomach. It was too much. So I don't like pins. I just want the flour. Me sick. Yeah, he likes the smell of it, but he can't smoke. So I and my daughter, she doesn't. I mean, I think she's probably drank a little bit, and she's a freshman in college. So I think her first semester there, she had a little bit of fun. Zach, he was the guy. Man, he was always playing sports. He was the guy that would bring the guys home,
Yeah, I don't really know if Zach knows me like that. I don't really know him like that. We just knew of each other.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I did play baseball, so like we just knew each other's faces from baseball.
Did you ever think about your future kids?
I do. I think about them all the time.
That's very smart. I started at a young age, and I would watch parents about what worked, what didn't work.
Oh, I do that too.
Yep. And then
I think some of the stuff's so stupid that these parents do. I'm like, you're dumb. Like, you don't deserve kids.
You don't deserve kids. The first thing you teach a child is no means no. That's it. And I learned this. Don't ever let a child see your hand. Pop them. So Zach had a diaper, and he was like 8. I mean, he could walk early. He was like 8, 9 months old. And he was just a big tub of love, man. That boy could eat. Now we thought he was going to be this monster fat boy, and he would be running down. He'd be running somewhere, and I'd come behind him, not hitting him where you could hurt him. It would just startle him. He'd be like, "No," and and he'd sort of he didn't know where it came from, and you're just standing there saying no. And I'm telling you, within a month and a half, that kid. We were at a hotel, and that kid was running down the hallway towards the stairs, and Don Marie about to take off after him like every helicopter parent. I said, Don, hang on a second. I said, Bam, Bam. No, sir. That's all I said. And his one little leg, and he, turned around and came running back to me with a smile. And I was like, this kid already understands no. And when you have that foundation of no means no, and I would be hugging my wife, and our kids would always try to get in between us. I wouldn't let them, because there was going to come a day where they leave. Now, I love you with all my heart, but this is who I'm going to be with the rest of my life. And then they learned to surround, and we became a whole family. And Then you teach them mama's the queen, and Zach and them, they would pop off. Who you talking to? Who are you talking to? My queen? I want to be with her the rest of my life, son. And then they learned. And so I didn't want to ever. I got spanked and beat, and I didn't want to do all that crap.
Yeah.
And so I found a better punishment for people like you. You would have hated it. I would sit there like this, and we'd be talking about something, and if Zach ever even flinched, I would start the conversation over. So he'd have to sit there dead straight and listen, and he'd have to pay attention, and then he would have to tell me my key words that I said. And if he ever was just sort of lost his attention, I wouldn't say nothing. I would sit there, and he was starting to go, and I would literally start the same words over that I started the whole conversation. And you could see his foot just twitching, and oh my God. And I asked Jacob later, I said, you know, it's fun now that they're men. We get to have a lot of fun. I said, Jay-Bird, he said, man, I'd rather you just beat me. I said, I know. There are so many. When you find what your child's currency is, you own them. And the other thing is, parents think the kids are smarter than they really are. You know, they're not that bright. If you hold your own, they break. But parents are so afraid to hold. You're not that problem. If this ever did go down the road and there's a child here, she's dealt with nurses. And I mean, as a nurse, no. Like my daughter, I always tell her when she young and would cry, I said, sweetie, I'm a veteran. I said, them tears don't bother me. So thank you so much for sitting with us and a little time with us. Thank you for letting him come. I want you more too. Next week with us, we're going to have Al Emmerich. After that, we got some politics coming. Maybe some senators. I don't know. It's getting a little bit bigger. I've heard some rumors. So we'll have to see what happens. Make sure to like and share. Tell your friends about us. Talk about us on the thread. Say what an awesome guest he was and how bad I suck at interviewing, so that we can argue, because that helps the algorithm. Okay. Hey, we'll see you on episode 23. All about the grind. Oh, that's me. That's not him.
Concrete in the dirt, I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My
That
skin is
was
thick,
awesome.
yeah, it's tough.
I got my
Running, yeah, we
youth
stay
in here.
alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else.
It's going to keep growing.
There's greatness
So
inside.